Hello, everybody, and welcome to Challenger Approaching. It is a fine Friday evening indeed. We have recent Symphony of the Night randomizer tournament bracket resetter Dragon Blitz. I'm going to give some announcements really quick before we get into things, though. If you missed out on any of Summer Games Done Quick 2023, which was just a few weeks ago, be sure to check out the VODs on youtube.com/gamesdonequick. You can see all of them there. Both DB and I, both of us did runs. You can check out both of those runs on the YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe while you're over there. And your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bits cheered on the GDQ Twitch channel help support Games Done Quick hotfix. Please consider subscribing if you enjoy the daily speedrunning content. But like I said, we are joined by my friend Dragon Blitz. DB, how are you?
I'm doing great. So happy to be here. How are you, ADF?
I am doing really well, better now that this is happening. Can you tell us a little bit about what we're going to see today?
Sure. This is Castlevania Symphony of the Night Randomizer. Last time, if you watched the playthrough I did for SGDQ, that was the Lycanthrope preset. This time around, I wanted to change things up. I wanted to try a custom preset, if you will, that has a lot more potential for things to go right, a lot more potential for things to go wrong. We're going to be seeing a lot more of the game too. This is based off of the adventure preset, which essentially means any equipment location, not just major locations in the game, but any equipment location has the chance to be a relic. And it's essentially not no logic, but the game doesn't care about the progression at all. So anything can essentially be anywhere.
Amazing. Well, I'm looking forward to the challenge, and I think there's no reason not to just jump in here. So do you want to give us a countdown?
Yeah, I'm ready. We're going to be going in 3, 2, 1, go. This is the beginning of Symphony of the Night. The prologue portion is not touched by the randomizer at all. It's just for consistency reasons, and I think there could potentially be things messed with the prologue sequence, but the developer of the randomizer chose, we'll just keep this intact, which is great for me because my speedrun muscle memory gets to stay the same, which is nice. Right here, I'm doing a strat that allows me to kill Dracula a little bit faster than normally. It's called a damage stack. There's a random chance we got it there. Every time you throw a holy water on the ground after hydrostorming, you just do massive amounts of damage. We kind of got one there. That was a pretty big one, and we didn't get one at the end, so you can see that the damage we're doing at the very end there is a lot less than the first two. Yeah, everything I do in the prologue is all designed to help my stats and give me a few extra random items at the beginning of the playthrough now as Alucard. But yeah,
so I mentioned earlier that there's a bit of a randomizer tournament going on right now.
Yep.
And you just did a pretty big thing, I would say, not but half an hour ago.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a tight schedule today, which is fun. A lot of randomizer. I've played a lot of randomizers today, and there's plenty more to come. What weapon do I have? Some sort of sword, and it 2 hits these guys? All right, that's cool by me. Yeah, there's a Lycanthrope preset randomizer tournament that's being hosted by Jupiter Climb. Shoutouts. Jupiter Climb is also into the grand finals with me. It's me versus him in the grand finals. I was in the loser side of the bracket, and we played 2 matches today. I was able to reset the bracket, so now we're both in losers, and it's one set to determine who ends up winning the tournament. So it's really exciting.
Nice.
Shout outs to Bobby, by the way, who has been hosting the streams for those tournaments. A lot of hype in there. Definitely recommend. Yeah, that's my guy. So let's see what we got here. Now, Mana Prism at the start's pretty cool. We have the secret boots. That explains why I'm so tall. So you're going to see Alucard actually shrink after I get these items stolen from me by a few pixels. It's just the secret boots is a joke item that just makes Alucard slightly taller. But yeah, we can't do death skip in this version. We didn't have the correct loadout to do so. So we are starting with absolutely nothing, and let's see what we can find. These items are randomized. Resist Ice is basically useless. Aquamarine is a sellable gem. So once we get to the shop, we can sell that. Pretty standard, nothing too crazy at the start here. We have a couple more item check locations, and since this is a S-Stock, that actually could be very important. It is a thrust sword, so it gives us access to the ability to do a mid-air thrusting attack. But out of all of the thrust swords, S-Stock is the worst. So it's not like amazing that we found it, but we will, I guess, take it. It's better than nothing.
We love better than nothing.
Yeah, a lot of attack potions, a lot of stat buff potions right now. That's interesting. So this is like the first divergence from like a normal route. I'm going to be doing this actual factual box puzzle. You lift the box up from those spikes by pressing the switches in a specific way to get up here, because this is the first potential relic location that's guarded by an equipment spot, and it was not a relic, but it was a mana prism, which is quite nice. They refill your magic all the way to full. That was an intentional damage boost, I promise. I'm not bad. And yeah, the Alchemy Lab is like usually one of these places that you either get a lot of great stuff at the start, or you kind of are just going through it somewhat normally. Another thing to note is you're going to be noticed I'm not actually going to equip that S-Stock that we got earlier, because as far as combat goes, Alucard's fists are actually really strong. And you can supplement that by using spells, and these are available like whenever, as long as you have the magic for it. When you play the game normally, it's kind of expected that you discover these spells by like buying these like scrolls at the shop to like teach you the inputs. But if you know what the inputs are, you can just do them whenever if you have the MP for it. So coming up, I'm saving the game here for a specific reason. One, because when you save the game, like when you touch a save point, it refills your magic and your health. And when you touch a save point for the first time, it goes through the full save animation of the coffin, like spawning in Alucard and all that fun stuff around it. We have to watch it the first time, but every time after that, as long as we don't actually save the data to our memory card, we can skip it, which can be quite useful. The other reason I'm doing it is because I'm doing 2 checks down here, and this elevator is really slow to ride back up. Oh, okay, well, I was going to say we could skip riding the elevator back up, but we actually do need these gravity boots. But I could show off a little bit of a skip here. So gravity boots by themselves are not... Oh, I can't do it here. Dude, the S-Stock sucks so bad. Can I? No. Maybe? Okay, like that. So gravity boots by themselves don't actually give you access to multiple high jumps like that. Normally, you're only allowed 1 grounded high jump if you just have the gravity boots by themselves. But that's the reason why the thrust sword is so important. It gives you access to a state in this game called a dive kick state. Essentially, it allows you to dive kick out of the air. And if you have access to a dive kick, you can dive kick, obviously. And you also have access to infinite gravity jumps for whatever reason. It's just one of those like niche little mechanical things that most people don't realize, because by the time you get gravity boots normally, you always have access to dive kicks through the double jump ability. But we don't have double jump, we just have the gravity boots. Real quick, this is going to be maybe anxiety inducing for some, but don't mind me. I probably should go back. This is the map. These are all of the possible checks. The ones that are outlined in green and all of the ones that are outlined in purple are checks that I can do, but they're considered out of logic. I think I'm going to go back for those later. The big squares. Awesome. Yeah. This is a very in-depth map tool created by Talik Zelot. Shout outs. He's also the person that created the auto tracker, which you are seeing on the stream right now. Awesome dude. Super happy to have him creating fun stuff for us to use for our randomizer playthroughs. Yeah, I was just deciding which route to take. Oh, that's a better thrust sword. I'm going to grab that one on the way back up. Okay, that's a familiar card. I do need familiar cards. They're generally useless most of the time unless I find the Nose Demon or Demon card. And Ghost card is not one of them, so that's fine. Yeah, that's the thing about these settings, is that we're going to find a lot of junk, and that's part of the fun. But in the meantime, we get to chill, listen to the randomized music, explore the giant castle. Come on, get up there. Okay, well. Another thing you can do with the gravity jump that is like not well known is you can angle it while on the ground by doing a precise set of inputs. You would either need to frame perfectly, press down and then up, forward, and then jump on the same frame, or you could do down, up, down, forward, and jump, and that also gives you the angle that you want.
What?
Yeah, I think it has something to do with the fact that if you're walking, the game doesn't give you the diagonal jump, but if you're crouching while holding forward, it will give you the diagonal jump. Oh, there's the Nose Devil card. All right, now I don't need to grab any more familiar cards because that's the only one I need. There's 7 different familiars. 2 of them work for literally 1 check. Okay, Holy Sword's a great weapon to find. That'll probably be like my basic combat weapon for a while. We'll just go up here. Yeah, there's a lot of nuance with the game's movement system. It's one of the reasons why I think it's a fantastic speedrun game, both like without and with the randomizer. Because the movement system just has so many different like ways to exploit it, to move through rooms that are like normally really awkward if you're just playing casually, but like if you have the correct speedrun knowledge, you can just zoom through them. Right now, we're kind of missing a lot of the movement options that would make us go really, really fast, but we'll find them eventually. Yo, the Holy Snorkel. Let's go. This lets us breathe underwater.
Yeah, this game has always been like, I mean, from a casual observer, right? Like, such a feast for the eyes as a speedrun. Even just backdashing is like interesting enough.
Yeah, once we find a shield, I'll probably start shield dashing, but we don't have one currently, which does increase the speed of our backdashes by letting us reset the fastest part of the backdash and do that over and over again. I'm going to open up the secret area over here. The secret ceiling right here has the potential to be a relic. That's not a relic, but that is the best item in the entire game. So that's pretty chill.
Let's go.
No big deal. Duplicator allows us to infinitely use items that are normally like a single use. So every potion I now can use infinitely, so long as I have the duplicator equipped. Throwable weapons that have a high base power that are limited by their single use nature are now we can use infinitely. The only downside is it does lower our stats a decent amount. So if I'm not careful, I could put myself in a situation where I could be like dangerously low on health, or I could like die while wearing it, but I simply will just be good at the game and that will not be a problem.
Easy.
Infinite mana prisms.
Simply don't be bad.
Yeah, infinite mana prisms are crazy. Infinite javelins are also crazy. I think javelin cross shuriken is like enough to carry me through the entire game. So, like, yeah, I'm not supposed to be killing these enemies this fast. All right. Huge. Absolutely huge. All right. Good seed. Good seed. I guess we'll fight a boss coming up here and show off a little bit more of how broken these things are. Ideally, the only thing I'm missing now as far as like items I want to see for that aren't like directly related to progression is the library card. It is a random item that gives you access to warp to the library location. And yeah, those guys are just, they're screwed. I could also do it like a pseudo shield dash, like a backdash cancel, by backdashing while throwing the items, and that resets the animation as well. So not only is it good for combat, it's good for like movement as well, having the duplicator in these throwable items. I got the Jewel of Open. Do I want to use it right now, or do I want to keep exploring? Let's keep exploring. Let's have some fun with it.
Let's just mess around.
Yeah. This is a, like, not no logic, but no complexity value seed, which complexity value dictates how many steps of relic progression you need before the game is like, okay, that's enough, you can go beat the game now. Usually by changing where you find certain types of items or limiting certain types of items to only being in certain places. But this removes that, which means it's a much more open type of randomizer, and we can find things basically everywhere. So there's no point in prioritizing one location over the others. So it kind of just turns into check as many things as possible as conveniently as possible, which for me I think is a lot of fun because it basically turns into a challenge to just explore the whole castle as fast as I can. I do need to actually... This is the only awkward part, is because my flight is dependent on the thrust swords now, I kind of have to awkwardly maneuver through some of these areas that I'm not supposed to be in, but it's fine. It's not the end of the world. Okay, that was nothing. Not worth. But yeah, until I do that thrust attack, I'm just falling and I can't actually gain any height. So that's one of the downsides to not having actual like game intended flight and having it be locked behind these somewhat janky mechanics. There is a boss over there that I cannot actually fight yet because I do not have a transformation. There is a boss fight over there that is locked behind needing any transformation. There are 3 transformation abilities in this game. The Holy Glasses, what are you doing there? That is the item that gives us access to the inverted castle, the upside down castle. And finding it this early makes me a little scared, not gonna lie.
So you mentioned that it's not no logic, right? Because you've been talking about things as though they affect change later. So clearly, like, things are in logic, obviously. But how much does that affect, gameplay in general?
Essentially, it means that the game will never soft lock you because there is logic. But, for example, the go mode for this game is you need holy glasses to get to the second castle. You need some form of flight to like maneuver through the second castle because it's impossible to maneuver through the second castle without some form of flight. And you need the 5 Vlad relics, which is the second to last row on the bottom of the tracker. All 5 of those are just in the lore. They're like they're pieces of Dracula that he like has for. I actually don't know why they are like that. I'm just making this up, man. Something Castlevania 2, something Dracula,
something terrible night.
Yeah, exactly.
Something to have a curse.
Something like that. But essentially, you need all 5 of those, and that unlocks the final boss fight. So the lack of complexity essentially means that those items can be anywhere with no like bias, essentially. There's no hidden biases or way that the game is going to calculate the progression that makes like higher importance items more likely to find or less likely to find. But there is still built-in game logic. Like, for example, that silver ring, that's a progression item that was just randomly here. It essentially means that the seeds are going to appear a little more random feeling because there's no underlying structure or bias or anything that's like pushing you towards certain locations. This is a neat little thing. We're backtracking back now into the alchemy lab. We left this area earlier because we couldn't like find more things while we were here because we needed the gravity boots. And then now that we have gravity boots, we're going to backtrack to this location up here, which surely has nothing. Exactly what I was expecting. Calculated. But yeah, it's just more checks to do. And like, if I don't do these now, it's a convenient time for me to do these, essentially, because I'm already here. Yeah, this is that elevator that we ended up skipping earlier. Unfortunately, can't skip it going down.
There's that interesting thing that I feel like... Sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're fine.
I feel like something really captivating about randomizer runs is like... It borrows so much of a skill set from a normal speedrun sort of, skill set, but it also requires such a level of like improvisation that I think is really interesting to do quickly. Oh yeah.
This I will say, before the randomizer came out, I had been speedrunning Symphony of the Night for probably like 6 or 7 years. Had multiple world records, and once the randomizer came out, I'm like, oh, I finally actually know things about the game, because it forced me to learn the minutia and oh, this item exists and is actually really good, but you would never know about it in normal gameplay because it's locked behind a 0.02% chance to drop. So nobody ever gets it unless you're super lucky. Stuff like that. Also, just being more comfortable with moving throughout more of the game, because there's certain areas of the game that you just never go to in a normal speedrun. They are just always useless. The items are basically always useless. Even some completionist categories will still skip a a handful of locations because there's literally nothing there. One example is the reverse library. In every speedrun, there's outside of one that uses not arbitrary code execution, but no, it does use arbitrary code execution. That's like the only one that ends up going to the reverse library, but we're likely going to see it in this playthrough because the reverse library actually has some useful stuff in this randomizer. So there's a chance that what we need is there. So getting more familiar with being able to find and like maneuver through these more niche areas is one of the things that the randomizer really does teach you over time. And it's just another way for me to just keep playing my favorite game in different ways and not get bored.
And that is the content uphill battle, right? Like figuring out how to have a fresh time with something you've done a million times.
Yeah. I mean, I always have fun with this game. Just moving around feels good. It's one of those games that I'm very happy I knew about growing up and had growing up, because once I learned more about speedrunning and seeing people like Rom Scout like go absolutely crazy style on this game for
the
like,
king.
Yeah, the actual goat of speedrunning this game. Undoubtedly. Seeing him and like the things he was able to do with this game, like as a casual, I was like, I want to do that. I like this game. I want to go fast. That looks fun. And yeah, definitely was super worth. 10 out of 10 would recommend. So I used that Jewel of Open that we had earlier. That opens up access to the caverns area. I'm going to grab that. Fire Shield's nice. It makes us immune to fire attacks, which could be useful coming up. And let's see. Anything good here? I'll get the Power of Sire. Oh, I could actually show off if I have a monster vial, I could show off some new tech. It was a new glitch that was discovered that's randomizer viable to completely like nuke enemies, like ridiculously so. Let me check my inventory, actually. I might have one. I literally learned how to do it today. Do I have it? I don't think so. Oh, yes, I do actually. I do have one. Let me see if I can do it. I literally learned how to do it today, so I might mess this up. The idea is I'm trying to spawn an enemy, and as the enemy is spawning in, yeah. I've never done that before.
Let's go!
So I literally learned how to do that like right before the stream started. What's happening is that it's another damage stack glitch similar to the one that we did in the prologue section with Richter, but it was recently discovered that by combining the monster vial spawning animation with any sort of in-game they're referred to as bomb type weapons. They are like full screen attacks, the Power of Sire being the most powerful one. When you combine those two things at the same time, when they're overlapping like that, it just makes sure that the enemy can basically be hit on every single frame. Okay, I messed up the timing there, but that enemy has like no HP anyways. It's fine. You wouldn't even notice if I had gotten it or not because this enemy has so little HP. Yeah, it's very, very recent. It was discovered by Jupiter Climb. Shouts outs yet again. Yeah, I don't even think the glitch mattered because this boss has like such little HP. I probably won't be continuing to use it as much. Wow, well that makes life a lot easier. So Soul of Bat is the best movement option in the game, bar none. So this is an insanely lucky seed. Like I cannot, I swear, not pre-vetted, not Plandomizer.
So you say.
I promise. But yeah, this is a really good seed. I'm not gonna lie. I was expecting to struggle a lot more, but now that we have access to like flight, like normally, because the bat can just fly whenever it wants, we can do a lot more movement wise, which is great. Where is? I'll just use the Power of Sire. Also, huge shout outs to the randomizer dev. Normally, this item right here, the Power of Sire, has like a very annoying, like flashing, like screen flashing thing built into it. The randomizer dev put in a patch to actually just remove that. So it's just more accessible in general because it's one of the best items in the game. So I used to purposely not use it because I didn't want to bother people with like photoreceptor sensitivity or anything like that. But now it's like a lot more manageable.
That's goated.
Yeah. Yeah, no, our movement is looking quite nice. The main form of movement you're going to be seeing me do while I'm in the bat transformation is called a wing smash. It's a pretty technical input. I've had to practice it for like tons and tons and tons of hours to be as consistent as I am at it. The input is you hold the jump button, you do a 3/4 circle motion on the control stick, and then you let go of the jump button. And you have to do that once every second to maintain what is known as a wing smash chain. So essentially, if you don't do it every second, it forcibly removes you from the wing smash and like forces you to untransform, and it's really slow and bad. So I'm just constantly chaining these like 3/4 circle motions over and over again. Meanwhile, you also have full control of your height whilst doing it. So you have to control how much height you're gaining from your wing smashes just from like doing the input and then also managing the input timing. I don't need that. It's another familiar card, but we already got the one familiar we need. So it's probably the highest like skill ceiling aspect of the game is chaining wing smashes and being able to do them properly. There's a ton of nuance to it too. For example, during screen transitions, the game freezes all inputs. So you have to know how to like manage your inputs whilst transitioning between screens as well. Otherwise, the input won't get registered the way that you would expect, and the wing smash just drops. So it's the definitely the high skill ceiling aspect of this game that makes me super happy to boot it up and move around. We'll call that an intentional damage boost. Why not? All right. Looking at the map, we've cleared out a big chunk of the possible checks already, but there's still a ton left in the first castle. Almost everything is available to us. That diamond looks quite nice. It's a sellable gem. It's the highest sellable value. So I'll definitely come back for it. There's a few checks down here I want to do. Okay, that cheese had the potential to be a relic as well. But yeah, now that, like, right there, I dropped a input on that wing smash and it forcibly untransformed me when I wasn't trying to. And then also another thing about wing smashing is any sloped surface that you rub up against, the bat will, like, follow. And your momentum will get pushed along the angle of that slope. It's called terrain boosting. And sometimes it's beneficial. And other times, in locations like this, if I touch the sides, it'll force me into a like diagonal or like a angle that I don't want. So you have to like kind of thread the needle through some of these locations. Also, somewhat new discovery, this bridge, you can break it manually by pressing triangle on player 2. So I have a second controller off to the side that I just press triangle on, and it just blows up that bridge. It was a...
I love that. I love that discovery so much.
The developers had it as a like debug type thing to test the bridge, assumedly, and they just forgot to take it out of the final build of the game. So that is in... it is believed to be in every version of the game. However, the release schedule or releases, multiple releases of this game are quite interesting that none of them have access to Player 2 after the original PlayStation release, which is quite interesting. Also, this guy's awesome.
Kind of looks like a Mario character.
So this is like a joke familiar that's modeled after, I believe, a Japanese comedian. He's meant to be a joke. Well, you know, and he says like funny things. Oh, that's a meal ticket. That meal ticket has the same exact sprite as a library card, so it would have been nice if that was actually a library card. But we got baited. But yeah, that's a Japanese exclusive familiar. However, the code for them exists in the NTSC and like PAL versions of this game. So the randomizer dev is like, I could just put those back in. Like they're there in the game's code, might as well. So they're like bonus familiars. There's a Japanese demon familiar, which is the one that we have, and there's a Japanese fairy familiar. I think in the later versions of Symphony of the Night, they like added them back in, but with like different voice acting instead of the original like Japanese voice acting. I'm gonna grab that garnet. I have no clue what's in the shop, so any amount of money is nice. That's another sellable gem. I mean, there's no reason to keep the demon familiar, like, following us, but there's also no reason to get rid of him, so he's gonna be chilling with us for a while. He likely will not do any damage to any enemies, because I will kill them before he will get a chance to. Ow, never mind.
But he's hanging out, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, he's part of the vibe squad, you know. So I actually have the relic combo that's required to like get through this area the normal way. This is what it looks like. The game expects you to have the bat transformation and the echo ability to like see in that dark room using the bat's echo location, which thematically very, very cool. Speedrunning wise is a little silly, but you know, there's many ways to get through that room without needing to see, because like as a speedrunner you just have the room layout memorized and there's like a few strats to get through there without it. But I figured might as well show off the casual intended strat. Oh god. I guess another thing to note about wing smashing and why having the duplicator is so powerful is every time you wing smash, you'll notice the bar on the top of my screen that it's just like losing bits and pieces of it. That's me doing a wing smash, and that's my magic bar. So having access to infinite mana prisms essentially means I have access to infinite wing smashes. Otherwise, I'd have to be a lot pickier about when to wing smash because I wouldn't have the infinite pool of mana to pull from to be able to just wing smash over and over and over again, which increases your speed throughout the course of a playthrough by like an insane amount. Let's check this item. Okay, Power of Mist. We're finding a lot of relics that on their own don't do anything, like upgrades to the familiars, but they don't do anything until we find an actual familiar card, so once we find like the Mist or the Wolf, we'll be pretty set. Okay, again, another upgrade to the Wolf, but not the actual Wolf transformation itself. Did I miss anything here? I missed one relic that I'll get on the way out. Perfect. All right. From here, there's not like... This boss is a little silly, kind of gross.
It's just the fellas. I mean, the fellas are hanging out.
I'll switch to the Power Sire. He's a little too high up for me to like actually kill him properly, so I'll just use this as a full screen attack. I just didn't want to open the menu. I was being greedy, like, ooh, maybe I could save a few frames by not opening the menu. But realistically, that boss fight went a lot worse than it could have because of that. That's not even the grossest boss in this game. That's like one of the gross-looking bosses, because this game really tried to capitalize on the horror aesthetic of the Castlevania series.
Well, all those little guys walking around down there, they're just fellas.
Yeah, they're
just fellas.
They're fine. They're fine. In general, though, I'm not a big fan of letting those bodies hit the floor. It's ideally just you don't want to let the bodies hit the floor. It's not fun.
Is this the part where I scream, or?
Yeah. I think I had to say it one more time. But it's fine.
That's a song I have not thought about in probably 8 years.
It's like one of the dumber, funny clips on my channel was me making a big joke about letting the bodies hit the floor and that guy. I think it's one of those connections that a lot of people don't like make initially, and then you're like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was like nothing down here of actual value. We found like upgrades to things that we don't have, but that's the thing about these settings is like we're likely going to find any individual check is very likely to be nothing. So it's, you know, it's just, you know. But when it's not nothing though, hey, it's gonna go crazy. It's gonna go. Do I want to do? I'm trying to organize my route to be more efficient, but it's really hard, honestly.
God, speedrunning dumb, routing hard.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this check even though it's kind of out of the way. But if it is the thing I need it to be, I'll save like an insane amount of time. But if it's not the thing, I just am going here for no reason. But that's fine. Yeah, I've completely given up any hopes of these settings being like fair or balanced. It's just we're just gambling at this point. Any individual location, we're just rolling the dice. All right, not bad. Yeah, just spamming all of our overpowered stuff. We do have to wait a while for this guy to get out of here before the doors open and we can leave. Also, that classic PlayStation slowdown. You get to see a lot of that during the boss animations. And there was nothing. All right, that's chill. That's cool. I'm super happy about that. That's great. It makes me feel really good about myself. I don't want to do the entrance again, but I might have to. That might be the most logical, actually. Yeah, I'll just go back to entrance. There's 2 checks there that if I save for too long, it'll probably bite me in the butt. Yeah, there's a particular check here that requires that you have the bat relic and the wolf relic in order to check behind like one of the dumbest, like obviously baiting people to buy strategy guide type secret, where there's a breakable wall which leads to a breakable like cave, and you have to go through the cave in one transformation and go out the other side as the other transformation. This cave right here. I don't have the other transformation, so I can't do it. But that like opens up one room with like a few secret items in it, and it's like, okay, this game came out in 1997. They're trying to sell a strategy guide.
Prima's got to get paid, baby.
I know. Free mass adoption of the internet, where you could just Google or
look up the ASCII art guides on GameFAQs.
Exactly. I mean, a lot of those GameFAQs guides from way back in the day are actually still really good for this game. I mean,
they're good for a lot of games.
Yeah, people put in the time back in the day, and it's still valuable.
That was how you gained internet clout.
Oh man, I'm getting owned right now. I'm just not finding the things I need right now. It's fine. We have 0 Vlad relics, which is a little concerning. Because we do need all 5 of them, and they can be literally anywhere, so. But it's fine. We're chilling. We're having a great time. We're just doing a quick little tour of the castle. I'm going through what is colloquially, I don't know how to pronounce that word. It is amongst the randomizer community referred to as the forbidden route, because it's considered forbidden because if you're doing this route, it means you probably messed up. Because it's just not ideal to have to go through here.
This song that is playing right now is the exact same notes as this one portion of the Hyrule Castle theme from Breath of the Wild. It's like literally exactly the same.
Yeah, I could kind of hear that, yeah. I think I know what you're talking about.
Bum 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 bum.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same melody there.
It's even like the same instrument.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was some like crossover or like
some SotN heads on the Zelda team.
I mean, gosh, I'm gonna butcher her name, but I think it's Michi. I cannot. The person, the woman who made the soundtrack for this game is an absolute legend. Actually, has a YouTube channel of her just like playing through the songs that she's composed, and they're all amazing. She's done it for like a million different games, Castlevania games and stuff, and even the Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. I believe that's her work as well. Like, just a gamer composing legend.
Sick.
And this is probably the most like popular / like standout song that this game has. It's called Lost Painting. If you ask any SotN head what their favorite song in the game is, you get like a 90% chance they're going to say Lost Painting. I should do the other check, yeah. I'm being greedy. This check is slow unless you have the Mist Relic, but I should just do it now in case the Mist Relic is actually hidden behind this check. So the way this check works is either you have missed and you can go around, or you just stand in this breakable wall for 30 real-time seconds. And then
Why?
the game, you'll see. I don't want to spoil the surprise. It just lowers you down. You know, ghost elevator.
Good.
Another one of those, well, I don't want to call it like a strategy guide selling thing because you can get there without it. But this game has like the perfect balance of like, I have a cool idea, let me run it by the boss, and the boss just says, yeah, put it in. This game
It's big. There's a lot going on.
It is a game that I've been playing like on and off basically my whole life, and I'm still learning new things about it all the time, like on a weekly basis, whether it's a new glitch or just like a new intended thing that the devs put in. The game is just massive. So the fact that like secrets like that exist is one of those things that makes this game very, very special. But yeah, the fact that we have holy glasses right now makes me kind of feel like the game is like, okay, you should be in the second castle right now instead of finishing the first castle, and that's where all the goodies are. But, you know, it's a 50-50. It's either it's here or it's not, so.
The classic bit. The classic bit.
Sometimes it really is like that, though.
Well, true. I mean, yeah.
And if you try and, like, especially as somebody who is trying to, on a regular basis, race the randomizer and try and, you know, compete against others who are doing the best that they can. Oftentimes I find myself saying, you know what? Sometimes you just have to gamble if you want to win.
Wow, this guy is something else.
Oh yeah, this guy, he's just happy to be here.
Thank you.
He's just happy to be having money, you know? He likes money. There's some cool items here. I'll grab Drax Tunic probably unless there's something better. Well, we can't afford that, but that's like the second best item in the game. And we will likely not be able to afford it. So I'll put on the Crystal Cloak for the drip, Drax Tunic for the stats, Dragon Helm for the stats. Martial's just cool. I can show it off. I think everything else here is pretty much useless. I'll grab a Heart Refresh for the culture. That's pretty much it.
Farewell for now.
That was a pretty decent shop. We also had a ton of money, so we were able to take advantage of all those fantastic deals. Yeah, there's still more for us to check. The only thing that makes these settings particularly painful is that oftentimes you have to go into these locations, but you don't have the thing you need to like completely clear it. So I'm doing these checks right now, but it'd be more efficient if I had all of the possible like things. Oh, there we go, finally. That's one of the Vlad relics, 1 of 5 down. But for example, this area, if you had the mist transformation, I would be able to actually do 1 extra check, but I don't have it, so I'm probably gonna have to come back here later. I also got, while we were in the shop, the ability to see how much damage I'm doing because they locked that behind a relic for some reason. In like a normal speedrun, I would just skip it because I'm very comfortable. Yeah, this mist could pass thing is what I can't do right now. In a normal speedrun, I'm very comfortable with knowing how much damage I'm doing intuitively. But I figured for a showcase, like might as well let the viewers at home in on the what's going on.
Yeah, I definitely know what the numbers mean.
Yeah.
Mason.
Ooh, classic.
Yeah, I feel like we're just throwing out all the like the classic bits, so you know.
Yeah,
As somebody that actually played the campaign for Black Ops,
oh yeah, it was a beautiful campaign. It was great.
I felt ownership over that meme at the time. It's got that mission where you like swing into the window. You know what I'm talking about?
I feel like Call of Duty dipped into that bag of tricks multiple times, so I feel like that happens in a couple of games.
Sad. Never mind.
Yeah, I mean, I do remember playing the campaign, and I do remember it being a lot of fun. I remember the I won't spoil it, but the big plot twist is pretty, you know.
Oh, the part where he talks about the numbers?
Yeah, exactly, the numbers and what they
Part
mean.
where he explains the numbers.
Yeah, because people keep asking what the numbers mean, and
They
eventually
keep asking him. Everybody he talks to.
Yeah. It's like no one asks like how the numbers mean. You know what I mean? It's always what the number. Yeah.
When or how.
Am I missing anything? No, I'm being pretty thorough here. Also, if it wasn't,
this just means you won't have to do these checks later.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I will say the fact that we have a tracker that keeps track of this stuff for me means that I can actually like, you know, riff and talk with you while playing the game. Otherwise, it would be 100% all hands on deck. Try and remember everything I've done in the entire seed over the course of 2 hours, which is not fun. I mean, it is fun, but it's its own special kind of fun where you have to like really be dedicated to it. Whereas now I can be a lot more, I should do this. This is like one of the worst checks in the game. I wanted to skip it, but. So this is another one of those like, how are you supposed to know this? 3, 4, 5, oh, come on. 6, 7, I'm being bullied. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, 14, I guess I misremembered. That's 3. Each one of these cogs, you have to hit a specific number of times. It does change the pitch of the sound effect when you've hit it the right number of times, but it's really annoying to figure that out casually. And also dodge all of these enemies while doing so. Okay, come on now. And doing all of that opens up this room down here. And it barely even looks like you've done anything, but yeah, it's just one of those things. And there's also a really fun soft lock that can happen there because this room is like misaligned. I believe that soft lock got patched out in the randomizer. One of the quality of life things that got added. I'm like 99% sure it's no longer a thing. But yeah, some about this room, they just didn't align it properly. And you can just like zip out of bounds just for going in that room sometimes. It's very funny.
Love that.
To show how the room, like how it would work, is this room is also misaligned in a similar way. And you can like forcibly have that glitch happen by walking through this transition and backdashing on the same frame. Try and show it off. Like that. So it would do that, weird. But in a different location, and it doesn't require the frame perfect input. It just happens to you, and it pushes you into the ground. Like it just zips you into an area that is just underground, and you can't do anything. You're just soft locked.
Skill issue.
Yeah. Really was. That did happen in one of our tournaments, fun fact, where 2 competitors both soft locked in the same spot.
In randomly. The same match?
Yeah, in the same match against each other. It was funny. I don't think the competitors were laughing that much, but I was laughing. I was commentating. I was having a great time. I'm like, oh boy, that didn't happen to me. Let's go. Dang, bro. This seed really just doesn't want me to have anything nice. I mean, that's not true. I do have nice things. I have the best item in the game. I shouldn't be complaining. But as far as progression goes, we're not really finding much. Yeah, we have like a few checks left that are so out of the way, but I'm going to do them just to be safe. Because if I skip the one thing that I need, I'm going to have a bad time.
Have you seen that meme that, I don't know why I'm bringing this up, but you said, gonna have a bad time. You seen that clip where somebody's doing like a Hugh Neutron impression? Like, let me ask you this, Jimbo. Do you want to have a bad time?
Oh, and they're reading the Sans Undertale fight?
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I will say impressions, a lot funnier. A lot funnier than the artificial, voice rip technology. I much appreciate a good impression over just hearing AI voices. Yes,
I would rather hear a talented impressionist do a genuinely funny take on something rather than hear an AI botch, but do it in a good voice. Like, I don't know. I also just think AI, that you could AI scary.
Yeah. It's more so just like, it does it good enough that you get the idea of the joke, but the joke never hits hard enough.
Right, like the Obama, Trump, Biden, like Minecraft Let's Play thing was like funny once.
Yeah, but then start to
there's no inflection.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, hearing Donald go like, ender blocks or something like is funny, but I guess. But I'd rather hear somebody do a good impression.
Dude, how do you have so much health? What? You're like the second boss in the game. Die. I threw like 1,000,000 ninja stars at that guy. What the heck? Also, I'm going to show off a funny glitch. This is called Badu Card. You're both a bat and Alucard at the same time. It's what happens when you...
don't turn into a bat and human at the same time. You're so sexy.
Pretty much. All right, this was... I should have just went to the second castle, man. This whole place was empty. Whatever, it's fine. We had a good time, though. We got to kill that one boss. We got to show off Badu Card. I'm happy about that. But yeah, we will likely have to come back here. But thankfully, when I was checking the attic a little while ago, we did find a library card, which is so nice. Library card will allow us to instantly warp back to the library, but specifically the library in the first castle, the castle that we're currently in, which means that it's the fastest way to transition between castles. Otherwise, you'd have to go into this, like, basically, you'd have to come all the way here in the inverted section of the... This is known as the Castle Keep. We're in the Castle Keep right now. This is Richter. He's being possessed by Shaft, the Dark Priest. The orb is the thing that's controlling him. I do a couple of spells to destroy the orb. So Shaft's balls are no more, no longer controlling Richter.
Huh?
And, yeah, his name is Shaft, and he has a bunch of balls. I don't... That's just the game. I don't know.
I have no comment. I have no comment.
And once we actually fight Shaft, you will see his balls. I will say, if you're concerned because there was only one ball on screen, trust me, there are more balls. You will see Shaft's balls. I know that's like everyone's
Inverted
number one.
Castle.
Yeah, here we are. Inverted Castle. So there's a lot more checks. As you can see, the map is full of dots.
Late night hotfix, baby. It's like 8 p.m.
Hey, Cube of Zoe, that has the potential to unlock another check. It's the most annoying check in the game, in my opinion, because it requires that you find a random sub-weapon. So Cube of Zoe is an item in this game that gives you access to candles dropping hearts. It's like a main mechanic in every Castlevania game, but for whatever reason, I think because it's the first relic you get normally when you play the game, in its vanilla form, they're like, hey, we want to introduce you to like the idea. Ooh, another flat relic. We want to introduce you to the idea of like, hey, all of your abilities are locked behind relics now. So now you have the ability to have candles do the thing that they always do in every Castlevania game. So it's a little silly that it's locked behind a relic, but it is yet another thing that we have to look out for. And yeah, as soon as we enter the second castle, we get a bunch of stuff. All right, I see how it is. It's one of these seeds. Huh?
You're just throwing for content.
It's not even throwing. I'm not coping. I'm not mauled. I'm not. This is real. It's not throwing. It's more so that like
sentences that would kill a pilgrim.
Yeah.
I'm not coping. I'm not mauled. This is real.
Yeah. I'm being FR.
On God.
On God, yeah, no cap. Like I said, this is no complexity. So essentially, every relic can be literally anywhere. So just because I find a relic in one location doesn't mean like, oh, I should have simply have just guessed that that was the right location and gone here in the first place. Like that's, you could have that, what's it called? It's like post hoc reasoning, I think is what it's called, when you make a decision based off of like, or you have reasoning based off of after a decision was already made. So it's like, yeah, it's, oh, speaking of post hoc, I almost post, I don't know, I'm trying to make a segue here. I almost missed this. Okay. Yeah, another breakable wall that has the potential to be something. Okay, I should have skipped it. Never mind. See, that's post hoc reasoning. Saying after the fact, oh yeah, I should have just skipped it. Obviously.
Oh, well, I should have just intuited that was stupid.
Yeah. Let me grab this. It's a decent sub-weapon. It's not the one I need. I'm looking for specifically the stopwatch. The stopwatch opens up a secret room that is quite useful. It also is nice for this room because this room sucks. And actually, you know what? I'm just going to make my life a little bit harder, but also easier at the same time. This is going to ruin the cycles that the those switches are on. That I was because this room is the inverted version of the other room with these like switch cycles. I have no clue what cycle they're on, so now I have to like actually listen. for the change in the click. But I had to clear the room of like all those enemies. Otherwise, there's the click. Otherwise, it would be an absolute nightmare to do this with all those enemies flying around. There it is. Okay. No, I'm so dumb. I forgot I had that equipped. you know, I just wanted to show off the cogs some more. Can we get some coggers?
Coggers! Cog champ!
So yeah, how's your day been, Ada?
Oh, you know, filming TikToks with the boys.
Yeah, you know. It doesn't help that this is also the best song in the game, Enchanted Banquet. AKA Stubbed Toe in E minor.
Yeah, I was just about to say she sounds like she just stubbed her toe.
Yeah, that is a...
Is that a community joke?
Yeah, that's a classic. I think Dinner Dog Shouts Out was the one that came up with that one.
Well, I just came up with it separately, so
that's how you know it's a good
credit?
joke.
Where's my credit? Parallel thinking? Question mark.
You know, that's why Isaac Newton is the guy who's credited with discovering calculus, even though he actually discovered it second.
Yeah, we love Leibniz in this household.
We stand Leibniz here?
We do stand Leibniz. Bro, Isaac Newton was a weirdo.
All right. Well, we can put the cog champs away. No more cogging. I could do that out of bounds thing. Ooh, Spike Breaker. That I talked about that soft locks you, but in this version, it has the chance to not soft lock you and instead give you like a zip that is kind of cool. And I didn't get it. All right, well, it's subpixel dependent, and if you don't know what a subpixel is, don't worry, me either.
It's like pixels but sub.
Yeah, exactly. It's when you drop a prime to your favorite pixel.
Everybody should follow DB on Twitch.
I do stream the randomizer quite often and Symphony of the Night speedruns all the time. Also post about it on YouTube quite often. I be posting daily on my daily uploads channel.
I be posting
on my main channel. I literally just released a new video today that is, if I don't say so myself, a little bit of a banger. It's a speedrun explained of the RNG manipulation heavy Aria of Sorrow speedrun. Without RNG manipulation, the run was, I calculated it to be a 1 in 100 million chance that a run like that is possible without RNG manipulation. So it's pretty cool.
I'm also working on a video about probability right now.
Isn't it fun to try and explain probability in a YouTube video?
That's kind of the whole premise of my video is like why probability is hard to explain and why we're bad at talking about it.
Yeah, it's tough. And another thing that comes with probability, especially if you're used to like racing or speedrunning randomizers, is oftentimes you have to like have a certain number of like potential world states that you keep in mind and like having to know what the highest probability to maximize your chances of winning.
Sure.
Those things are like generally really important skills. So like knowing when a specific, oh my goodness, that is like exactly what I needed for this area. This area has a location that is guarded by the Mist, like you need the Mist Relic to check it. So the fact that the Mist Relic is here is insanely convenient. Yeah, like what are the odds of that happening? Am I right?
Right.
But yeah, it's one of those things that I was very unintuitively like unable to grasp, and funny enough, actually just being exposed to the randomizer and the smart people that are good at routing, and even the people who like accidentally stumble upon like optimal routing choices and like statistical probability based off of like, oh, this feels good, and then you look into it and you realize like, oh, there's like actual reasoning behind this. Like all that stuff I think has actually genuinely helped me with like real life probability understanding.
It's a tough concept to grasp. It's like it feels so intuitive on a base level and so unintuitive at any level above that.
Yeah. Yeah, 50-50, either it happens or it doesn't. Exactly. Am I right?
Fellas.
That is the only probability I need.
You actually said something earlier that was pretty thought-provoking. And I'm curious to hear your take. on it because you said when we were joking about Isaac Newton versus Leibniz,
Oh yeah.
you said Isaac Newton discovered calculus or whatever.
Yeah.
The ye olden debate is mathematics discovered or invented?
I'm a big Discover fan.
I'm a big Discover head.
Yeah, I'm more of a Discover main actually.
Okay,
Like
yeah,
I dabble in invention, but like Discovery just, I don't know, feels more right.
It definitely feels like theologically and philosophically more interesting.
Yeah.
To say like, oh, we're discovering math. Like it's fundamental to the universe.
I'm also a big, what is it called? I forget the philosophical standpoint of like the world would, like the universe would still exist even if humans weren't here. There's like a specific name for it that I can't remember off the top of my head. But because I also believe that the world would still exist even without people, I would assume math also exists. And if math also exists without people, then therefore math has to kind of always exist. But we're the ones just kind of discovering the consequences of that math already pre-existing. Something like that. I don't know. I am a philosopher. I stream video games for.
I know. I enjoyed your take. That's why I asked.
Yeah.
Also, whenever you're at like a good stopping point, we can take our first break.
Oh, I would actually love to do that right over here. Let me go save the game. This was a save spot that I was actually eyeballing, so you gave me the perfect excuse.
Word. Well, gamers, don't go anywhere. We're going to have more math to talk about and more SotN to watch in just a few minutes. We're just going to take a brief break. It's a good opportunity to, stretch your legs, get some water, and we'll be right back with more Challenger approaching right after this. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Games Done Quick Hotfix. This is Challenger Approaching. My name is Adef, and we've got our boy Dragon Blitz doing some SotN rando on the stream tonight. Some announcements, though, before we get back into things. If you are watching this on youtube.com, be sure to press that like button on this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, go to twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick if you're interested in looking at our live content, starting weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. But Dragon Blitz, feel free to give us a countdown and take us away whenever you're ready.
All right, let's get back into it in 3, 2, 1, go. We're back.
Let's go!
If you're just now joining us, what's up? I'm going fast, and collecting Vlad relics is basically all I need now. The 4 missing Vlad relics is all I need to finish the game, so we could be here for like 10 minutes and then we're done, or like an hour and a half. So it all comes down to if we get lucky to find the Vlad relics we need. I think there's a total of like 230 something total locations, and we've probably done like maybe half, maybe a little less than half. I'm not sure. No, we've done about half, maybe a little more than half now I think about it, because we're in the second castle. It's about the same check-wise number of checks between castles. We're only missing like a handful of relics that unlock like some secret areas. So the only thing I'm really looking out for is a stopwatch, because that would give me access to one of the trickier locations. So every once in a while, I'll be breaking some extra candles, hoping that it's a stopwatch, but I'm not going to go out of my way to break every single candle, because that would be very slow.
All right, are you ready to hear my opinion on discovered versus invented?
Oh, please, let's continue the podcast, actually. That's more important.
Because I saw in the break people in chat were debating, which I love. That it seemed to be thoughtful debate, which I think is good. People who are just actually having a thoughtful discussion about something rather than be like, you're wrong, math is actually sucked out of the brains of smart people.
I do hold that opinion, though. I want to make that clear.
I want to be clear.
I don't want you to, exactly.
Yeah, I didn't want to like out myself, but yeah, absolutely, 100%. I'm trying to be one of the brain suckers, you know what I mean? Anyway, my opinion on this topic is that, first of all, obviously we'll never know the answer.
Wait, what?
But second of all, I think that the fundamental laws of the universe are definitely discovered, and math has always been built to describe those things. Like the Principia Mathematica, which is basically the book on calculus written by Isaac Newton.
Real quick, Soul of Wolf, really good.
Sweet.
I'm pogging.
I'm pogged.
All right. Anyways, back to the Principia.
Right. So the Principia Mathematica is this book that Isaac Newton wrote about his discoveries in calculus. He wrote that book and discovered the things he discovered because he was trying to solve physics problems. So like, math has always been a thing that was done to like solve other problems, right? Because like math for math's sake has always been done, but usually like a mathematician like Aristotle or something would be funded by the state because there's other legitimate problems going on. Like, how do we look at the moon? Or like, how big is the Earth? Or if this building is too big, will it fall? Etc. So anyway, I think that the fundamental laws of the universe are discovered, but I think the numbers and systems we have created to talk about those things, the fundamentals of which at least were invented, and then as a sort of branching out from that naturally, it feels discovered because the fundamentals are very simple, and they're describing something that is discovered, if that makes sense.
Counter argument. Did you invent your hands?
No, my mom and dad did.
Okay. Would you say that the human hand, the 10 digits on the human hand, were discovered or invented?
I think it was discovered when somebody looked at their hands.
Right, and that's like the basis of our entire math system is...
Yes, the number system being in base 10 is largely because we have 10 fingers. But there are arguments for other number systems being based Not to do a pun. But like base 12 has a lot of really interesting.
Yeah, base 12 is good. Obviously, binary is insane. It's the whole reason that we're even communicating right now on the internet.
Yep. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a really interesting debate, and I love hearing nuanced takes on both sides.
Yeah.
And I don't even know that I really fundamentally feel one way or the other, to be honest.
I mean, the stakes are so low, right?
Right, yeah.
It's like no matter what, math is pretty cool or whatever, and people will continue to do math stuff that is cool.
There's an interesting question in chat about like tempering metal or something, and I think the difference is that like doing a physical process to a natural object is definitely discovered because it's something that could happen, right? Or is a natural consequence of chemical properties. Whereas like math that is only written down and understood in your mind is definitely invented.
Yeah, I think an example of that is like, does the Earth invent diamonds when it takes coal and like applies pressure for millions of years? I would argue no.
No, it's just a natural consequence of things.
Yeah. Base 16 goated? All right, let him cook.
That's hexadecimal.
Oh, I'm dumb. Yeah, no, never mind.
Nobody says base 16.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, that is hexadecimal. Never mind. All right. They've already cooked. Never mind.
They've already cooked. The dish is finished.
Yeah. This location's cool. We're coming up on a very funny boss in a little bit here that is normally like the hardest boss in the game casually. But there's a stun lock that's like super easy to do that makes him very trivial. So pretty much anybody who's played this game casually, once you do this stun lock, they almost always go, wait, what the heck? You can do that? Because it's like, this guy is so annoying. Like, you drop any like normal like speedrunner with like medium prep, like some amount of prep time to fight this guy without the stun lock, I'm saying like 80% of the time, Galamoth, the name of the boss, ends up winning because he's just so annoying. It's either you waste a lot of time dodging his attacks that are just not really fair, to be honest, or you get really aggressive and he always wins those wars. So, but yeah, I'll show off that stun lock real quick, unless I mess it up, and that'll be very funny. I'll be fine if I mess it up because I have enough like gear to deal with it. But essentially, you just stand on this platform, and as he turns around, you do some amount of damage to his head. Yeah, this is fine. You do some amount of damage to his head, and so long as you are doing damage with a decent enough rhythm, he won't break out of the stun lock. So, and this guy has 12,000 HP.
Oh,
so
nice.
without this stun lock, it takes a very long time to kill him because you don't get a lot of openings. Also, he has no additional defense on his head, but on every other aspect of his body, he has like plus like 40 defense. So I was doing 80 damage per star there. Otherwise, I'd be doing like half if I hit him anywhere else, so it would have taken like twice as long. And I have like arguably the most overpowered setup in the game. If you're using like a normal sword, like you're fighting that guy for like at least like 10-15 minutes. But yeah, we got through there pretty easily. There's even faster ways to have done it. I could have done the vial stack glitch that I showed off earlier to have probably killed him even faster, but I wasn't super comfortable doing that, seeing as how I literally learned how to do it like on this stream today. So, but I have seen people do faster kills using that vial stack glitch.
Dragon Blitz, I have the boys again.
Yeah.
I have some other interesting, thought-provoking questions.
Let's hear it.
When you're ready to brush your teeth, in what order do the things hit the bristles?
Okay, I know I'm weird for this. I'm probably the only person that does it in this order. I wet the brush, apply toothpaste, and then wet the brush a second time.
No, you're goated for this. You're goated for this. Okay.
What?
Okay. Hold please while I explain. Okay. We had this discussion on the interview team during GDQ, like all of us. I think wetting bristles then just toothpaste is whack.
Yeah.
Like if you're just putting, like, I know that toothpaste in and of itself is like wet, but the idea of not wetting the toothpaste before brushing your teeth is whack to me. I'm
yeah.
personally a toothpaste then wet, like toothpaste then water is my way, but I think wet then toothpaste then wet is goated.
I guess I justified in my head, specifically like, oh, what if there's like some dust or whatever, since this like toothbrush has been like sitting on my counter overnight or whatever.
Yeah,
so I'll just like wash that off. Although,
and then
like,
I want water on the toothpaste too.
What is that? What item is that? What did I miss? Oh, I know what item it is. Thank God for this auto tracker. I would have been so lost. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, realistically, the toothbrush already has like tons of bacteria and stuff on it, and it's, you know, it is what it is. A little bit of water is not going to necessarily change that, but in my mind, it makes me feel like it's cleaner. A
little bit of bacteria in your mouth goes a long way.
Yeah. It is so reassuring to see people in chat say that they do that too, because I thought that, like, I don't remember when, but I remember somebody, probably at like a sleepover as a child, they're like, that's weird. Why do you do that? And of course, that's like a stigma that just lives with you for the rest of your life. So it's like, oh no, I'm weird.
Something that a 4-year-old tells you a million years ago comes to define your whole personality.
Oh yeah, you know, like decades later, you're just like, oh man, I think Timmy might have been right.
Next question. When you are getting ready to go out of the house, I know, a crazy thought, I know.
I mean...
Are you sock shoe or sock shoe?
Sock shoe.
Okay, yeah, the only way, obviously.
Yeah, that feels. Why are you leaving one of your
your toesies are naked? While no.
It feels neglectful.
It would feel also strange to be walking around with one sock and shoe and no. Like, what if something happens?
Yeah,
and you got to stand up and move somewhere else in the home. Now you're just 1 foot in it.
I mean, I don't know. If somebody told me they went sock shoe, I'd be confused.
I think I'd be worried.
I wouldn't be worried. I'd be like, all right, that's the life you live, you know? That's fine. To each their own.
Is anyone in chat sock shoe?
Any sock shoers? It does sound like we're making
honk shoe.
Honk shoe, yeah, I was going to make that joke. Oh god, that's a laser beam, and it does a lot of damage. If I get hit by another one, I will actually legitimately die in the video game, so let me not do that.
Currently, in chat, people are accusing sock shoers of being satanic and or murderers.
Okay. See, I wanted to keep an open mind about sock shoers, but, you know. You guys are saying the quiet part out loud.
Oh no, this is a joke. Somebody said sock shoe, then pants.
Dude, imagine trying to get your pants on over your shoes.
Shoe, sock.
This sounds not to be the guy that's like Lamau SpongeBob reference, but we literally sound like SpongeBob forgetting how to make a Krabby Patty right now.
No, I'm not saying you put your socks on at the door. I'm saying there are some people who have their socks and shoes in their room.
I'm just an avid sock aficionado. I just enjoy wearing socks like around the house all the time.
Okay, not to be like #free feet, but like I like being barefoot in general in my home. It's one of the reasons why I like to keep my floors clean.
Fair.
Socks for me in the house are something I do when it is either cold or I want to feel cozy.
Yeah, I guess I just like that cozy feeling like all the time.
I've got no problem with that. What I will tell you is if you wear shoes in your house, you
satanic, yep, murderers, yep.
Terrible vibes.
Yeah. The vibes are
taking
off.
If you have shoes that are worn in the house, like if you have house shoes that don't ever go outside, that's
fine. Yeah, that's understandable.
But if you're bringing the outside inside, do you walk around on the sidewalk and then come inside with that?
Let me see if I can make this guy explode, actually. I think that'd be funny. Where'd my thing go? You can keep going, by the way.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah. No, I agree. Socks in the house, fine. Shoes in the house, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Okay, he was 1 hit away from dying anyways. I didn't even get a chance to do it. Whatever. Although I do know people who will have like a set of shoes for like cleaning their house that they wear. That's perfectly understandable.
Yeah, that's fine. And if people are talking about what if you have dogs, what if you have kids? These are all valid reasons to wear shoes. My recommendation is just wear a pair of shoes. All the more reason. If you have a toddler walking around on the ground, wouldn't you rather wear shoes that haven't been on the sidewalk?
Oh yeah, exactly. Hey, another Vlad relic. Only 2 left. We're making decent time. Although we have like a handful of checks left, so all things considered, I would say below average luck, but it's fine. Yeah, no, these are the hitting questions of our times, actually.
Yeah. In the past, our forefathers asked questions like, how round is the Earth, or what will it take to get to the moon? Meanwhile, we're asking the important questions. In what order do you disclose your feet to the world?
I would like to think that we're actually discovering the
Oh,
true,
we're discovering the truth?
yeah, the truth of the optimal.
Are shoes invented, or are shoes a natural outcome of the universe?
Hold on, bro. Hold on.
Hold on.
I'm not ready for this. What is that item? What item is that? Oh, I made an oopsie. All right, we'll go backtrack for an item that I completely forgot. It's fine. Yeah, you got any more fun ones in you, or are those like the pressing issues of the time?
Have you seen that image that's like, what ripeness of banana do you like?
Oh, I will say...
I obviously don't know the numbers, so like, just give me a ballpark of like what the coloration is like.
I am not very picky with... Like, I like bananas. I'll just eat a freaking banana, so long as it's not literally green. Or as long as there's like... If there is any green on it, it has to be barely any. And I'll still eat it.
You do have an opinion.
Yeah, but I'm not so picky that like, I will say I very, very rarely will ever eat. Oh, nice. See, I'm glad I went back for this. Bananas that are like too ripened, but I will eat them. Ideally, no brown spots. Although if my bananas do start to brown, I will freeze them for banana bread. Because at that point, it's like you're already there.
You started this diatribe by saying that you didn't care and then proceeded to whittle it down to basically one type of banana.
I don't want to... Yeah, okay? You want to call me out like that? Yeah, fine, whatever. I have banana opinions.
I am firmly in the camp of that MF'er gotta be brown.
Wow.
I'm not like, okay, I want some brown spots on the banana. That's what I want. I need it to be like, I don't want mushy, but I don't want it to be like tough.
See, my thing is once there's brown spots, you get into that weird area where like the peel just like peels itself under the weight of the banana. And that makes me feel a little uncomfortable.
Okay, well, that's when it's like truly brown, which is not what I want.
It happens every once in a while, even with just a couple of brown spots, I feel like.
I will say, you do, when you are waiting for bananas to ripen, like I do, you do dramatically decrease the number of bananas in a bunch that become edible, because like if I eat one banana a day, but I have to wait 5 days to have the bananas be where I want them,
yeah, you kind of have to accept that
I'm going to waste a few of them.
Yeah. You just kind of have to hold the L and eat either unripened bananas or ones that are a little too ripe if you plan on actually eating them, yeah.
Exactly, because...
Or just eat 5 bananas in one day. Like, what's wrong with that?
Let's go. The range you're looking for, if you overshoot a little bit, it's fine.
Hold on.
But if I overshoot... Yeah, go ahead.
Super quick, I want to see if I can get this glitch again. Because on this boss, it would be crazy. I messed it up. They still died in one hit, but whatever. They would have died even faster, like a few frames faster. It would have been really cool. Anyways, continue.
I got nothing else to say about bananas.
Bananas ripening, yeah. Yeah. I do like the idea of discussing innocuous things that you can have opinions on that don't genuinely matter in the grand scheme. Those are fun. Where's my stuff? There it is. I should probably actually... Yeah, I should consider using this potion a little bit. I've been kind of getting tossed around. Is this the one that you can't kick open? Yeah. There's a funny thing about breakable floors and walls in this game. Every single one is coded differently. They behave differently, have different amounts of health. Some of them have actual health values. Some of them are numbers of hits that you need to hit. Why they did it this way? Your guess is as good as mine. When they programmed this game, they just did. They just said, you know what? Let's make a breakable wall. And then I guess a separate time, they're like, oh snap, we have to make a new breakable wall. Let's code it completely differently. So that's fun. So it's one of those like neat little things. You just have to memorize all the little funny little mechanics and quirks that this game has.
So quirky.
It's not like the other games, actually.
Yeah, it's wacky.
It really is. This game is very wacky and very fun. Oh, the classic cereals and milks debate. Which one goes first?
Why would you put milk first? You're gonna splash milk everywhere.
That's what I'm saying. Oh my god! Finally.
This is okay. Every topic we've debated till now, there have been arguments for both sides that are valid. This is the first one where if you put milk first, you are wrong.
There's always those people that dig their hole deeper by saying, no, I put the milk in first because I want to warm it up in the microwave.
What?
Have you not met one of these people?
What?
Yeah, there are microwave.
What are you trying to curdle your milk?
There are milk microwavers out there for their cereal. It's real.
Oh God! One of the joys of cereal is that it's cold.
I don't know what to tell you. It's real. There are dozens of them. Dozens. Oh.
And also, if you're trying to warm milk or whatever, it should not be via the microwave.
I don't know what to say other than, once I learned of this revelation as well, I'm like, oh. It haunts me to this day. I just need you to have this knowledge as well.
I can't believe
you need to be cursed. Yeah, you have now been cursed with the knowledge.
No, okay, do not.
Oh, we can go beat the game, by the way.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. Anyways, back to cereal milk, the more important.
People are now decrying grape nuts, which I will not accept. Grape nuts are goated.
Okay, grape nuts they're fine.
Look, I'm not going to say that they're a great cereal that everyone should like, but they're so agreeable.
You just have to have strong teeth and gums. You got to be okay with your cereal like biting back a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, that's the thing. When you've eaten grape nuts for as long as I have.
Oh, you have a trained
baby.
mouth that is ready.
No. You put the grape nuts in, you pour the milk, and then you wait like 2 minutes.
Oh, you gotta let them soften.
You're looking for that perfect golden range where like some of the grape nuts are still crunchy but not going to hurt your teeth, but they've softened just enough to be edible. You don't want them to be too soft as to be mush, but you don't want them to break your teeth open.
I will say there is something admirable about being like, you know what? I think this insert cereal that has basically like no extra sugar or whatever and is pretty boring, like that's my goated cereal. I like that.
It is my goated cereal.
I'm a big fan of pretty bland cereals in general. Like if anything, maybe a little bit of honey.
Wheaties.
Oh, Total's great.
Oh, I love these. I love bland. I'm so glad we can agree on this because Railcoon gives me so much. They do not let me live on this.
Now, my one thing that I will say that is like my little cereal hack that not everyone's going to agree with. It depends on how much you're a fan of peanut butter, but I will often just take a scoop of peanut butter and use that to scoop the cereal. So it's like I'm having bites of peanut butter and cereal at the same time. Depending on the cereal, if it mixes well.
I've never seen this.
This is like my little treat to myself every once in a while. All right, I really do want to get this glitch again. Come on. Aw, they're dying too fast. I don't even get to take advantage of the glitch.
Too good.
Oh, that was Shaft. You missed the balls. It's fine. Well, I apologize. I was going to point out Shaft's balls this time to make sure that everybody knew, but it's fine. It's fine. This is the final boss. This is Dracula. He's our dad, by the way, and we're just here to settle some family business. It is fun that you can just throw around these little bat guys. This game's fun. They do a lot of damage, by the way. So, yeah, flashing screen warning actually probably. I forgot that he, like, flashes the entire screen. So close your eyes, everybody. I promise I'm beating the boss. Oh, God. Okay, there he is. He's done. It's dead. Time. Ooh, I wasn't expecting it to flash that much. He normally doesn't do that.
An hour underestimate. How is he so goated?
That's crazy. It's almost like the seed was actually not that bad. There was a dry spell in the middle, but we actually got pretty lucky because there was a couple of locations that could have unlocked more locations that unlocked more locations, and that would have sent us down like probably like a 30-minute detour minimum. But yeah, we got to skip most of that, and we got to see a decent chunk of the castle, I would say. Both castles, even.
1626, I believe.
You got the 1626, didn't you?
Oh, I did. Yeah. Sorry for the harsh microphone sound. Yeah, I did get the 1626, which is the current world record for any percent. Funny enough, that was my goal time because it's haha funny meme. He says Bible quote 1626 at the end of the game, and it's theoretically possible we could get this time. And it's actually a pretty good run. It's a world record that I'm quite proud of that has very few mistakes.
Well, here's what I'll say. First of all, if you're not following Dragon Blitz on Twitch, you're making a huge mistake. Check out his YouTube, check out his Twitch, definitely follow and subscribe. I mean, we've got some time to kill here.
Yeah.
Here's my thought process. Let me know what you think.
Mm-hmm.
I think we throw to a quick break, figure out what's coming up next, come back, and then fill some time playing some more Castlevania. How does that sound?
Oh yeah, I can whip up a fun little challenge for us.
Okay, great. So everybody stick around. We are gonna just take another brief break. I know we kind of just took one about 40 minutes ago, but we're gonna do it again. And we're gonna figure out what's next in the Symphony of the Night challenge running world, because this run went so well. So stick around, don't go anywhere. We'll have more Challenger approaching, more Symphony of the Night, and more Dragon Blitz right after this. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Games Done Quick Hotfix. This is Challenger approaching. Gamers, did you know that Juneteenth, our annual event celebrating Black independence, starts tomorrow on June 17th, and it runs through the 18th. So it's this weekend. It starts at 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Join us as we highlight the amazing talents of the Black speedrunning community. Gamers, you are not going to want to miss it. We've got a jam-packed schedule this weekend. It's going to be fantastic. I think Dragon Blitz might even be commentating a run?
The inaugural run, yes. The Swarm will be doing Castlevania Symphony of the Night any percent, and it's the starting run for the marathon.
Well, there you go. So you've got incentive to tune in. It's going to be an amazing show both days, so be sure to check that out. But DB, what are we doing right now?
I thought it would be fun. We have about an hour to kill. This is a challenge run that I've done a couple of times that usually takes about an hour. And Red Rust, if you don't know, is a weapon that is basically a joke weapon. It's designed to be like one of the worst weapons in the game. It has a random chance to, you'll do the input, and it's a random chance to fail the attack. The attack just doesn't come out, and Alucard goes, ugh! And just nothing comes out. So it's a meme weapon. It has a terrible hitbox, terrible damage. And I'm going to be using only that weapon to beat the whole game.
Great. Well, whenever you're ready, take it away.
All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1, go. Obviously,
Yay.
I can't use the Red Rust here because we're in the prologue. By the way, it's no longer randomized. I'm playing the vanilla unrandomized game in case people see the first relic and go, I think you forgot to randomize it. You know, the classic.
Classic.
Is this even randomized? The answer to that question is no. I grabbed extra hearts. I don't need them. It's fine. I'm going to throw these extra hearts away. So I will be allowing myself to do a couple of glitches for this run because otherwise, this run glitchless would take probably close to like 2 hours. So in order to fill the schedule appropriately, we will be allowing glitches to skip a few things. But outside of that, all damage and combat will be performed with the Red Rust. If I just want to say, because this can happen and I don't want anybody to get, too upset. If I accidentally maybe wing smash through an enemy instead of killing with the Red Rust, you guys will be cool about that, right? It's not going to be a wall of reset, invalid.
I will scream. I'm going to scream. I'm going to scream. I won't scream.
The second item drop after this intro sequence with death and everything will be the Red Rust. And once we pick that up, from that point forward, all I will be using is the Red Rust. Until then, we do get to at least enjoy a little bit what it feels like to be powerful with our starting gear here, the full Alucard set. If you want to see a run that takes advantage of the full Alucard set throughout the entirety of the run, that Juneteenth any percent run by the Swarm, you definitely want to check that one out. Because light spoilers for that run, there is a way to keep your equipment that is specific to that run, which is pretty cool. But yeah, this is a classic part of the game. Death is like, hey, you have all that powerful stuff? Not anymore, you don't.
What a staple in Metroidvanias.
Could you believe it started here?
Did it?
I'm 90% sure on that. Don't fact check me. Actually, just believe everything I say without questioning it, please.
Sure. Done.
I would appreciate that going
Done.
forward. There it is. There's the Red Rust. Let's put her on. And another thing that's important to note about this weapon is it has a random chance to fail. And I'm actually going to skip that Cube of Zoe because that could give us sub-weapons. And sub-weapons are gross. Cheating, actually. So we're not going to be picking that up. This also means I won't have access to like any hearts or anything like that. Oh god, I forgot how to use this. It's been a while. Oh gosh, we're fine. Everything's fine. Okay, that's an example of the weapon just randomly failing. Again, randomly failing.
What's the chance?
That's a good question.
Okay.
Somebody who is more knowledgeable would know the answer to that question.
I'll look it up.
Well, you might be able to find it online. It's very unlikely. I'd be surprised if someone actually documented it. And it's very likely that the documentation is maybe inaccurate, but you might get it. My guess is probably like 20%. It's just like a guess. Although right now it's feeling like 50% because I'm failing it a lot. Jeez. So obviously, failing your weapon swing in the middle of combat is going to be so much fun. So much fun. Let's do it. It's a 50-50. It either happens or it doesn't. True, chat.
It looks like there's a Reddit post about it, but that can't be currently viewed.
Yeah, you know. Shout outs to Reddit. So here I'm just going to kind of like loop this guy over and over again because he can't actually drop his friend on top of my head because there's a ceiling there. So I'm pretty safe so long as I continuously attack Slagra. Oh god. But the issue is sometimes I won't actually attack when I want to. Okay, that's one boss down. This guy, Gaibon here is his name. He's kind of annoying. He actually is doing a decent amount of damage. However, if you crouch in front of him, he can't actually hurt you. But, okay, well, I should probably stop talking and pay more attention to what's actually going on here. Okay, we're good. Ooh-wee. Yeah, that fight. How did I... Yeah, I dealt with it much differently in the randomizer playthrough because I allowed myself to use spells and such. Because even, like, if I allowed myself to do Red Rust only but didn't allow myself to do any spells, you know what? I'm just going to damage boost. It's fine. It's not worth trying to get, like, 2 experience. But yeah, spells would still just be, like, by far and away the most powerful thing I could be doing right now. I could... You know, I could show off some utility spells. This is a teleport that Alucard has. I could use that to get past some enemies and do some tactical damage boosting. Yeah, this is fine.
Is there any way to increase your damage output?
Yeah, I can get different relics, like the Vlad relics do increase your damage output, different equipment, leveling up in general, just gaining experience and leveling up, because this game does have ARPG mechanics. It is an action RPG at the end of the day. So yeah, once I kill more enemies and gain experience, my just general stats will go up, which is nice. I still think I'll probably be capping out at like, spoilers, you guys won't see how much damage I'm doing because it is quite slow to grab the relic that shows how much damage I'm doing. So I'm going to guess I'm probably doing like, maybe like 6 damage at most to some of these enemies. I have no clue.
Wait a minute.
This is a cutscene. Maria is up here. She's nice. She's cool. In the Saturn version, you get to play as Maria, and that's a lot of fun. Saturn exclusive character. But yeah, for now, there's not really much going on until I get to the next boss fight. It's just going to be me trying to like avoid enemies. And maybe I get scared and get low on HP and I scream a little bit. But other than that, we should be fine.
I endorse that.
Oh god. Another thing that sucks about this weapon is if you do the grounded attack, you're stuck in that animation for a very long time. So I just want to be careful. So oftentimes you want to be doing like aerial, like canceled attacks. Like you do the attack in the air, and when you land on the ground, it cancels all of the end lag that would normally be there. However, that's normally very useful for weapons because you can angle them down in this game while in the air by holding down and then pressing attack. This weapon doesn't have access to that. So I basically have to meet the enemy head on. Oh god, speaking of head on. If I want to actually do damage to them. Oh my god, that's so bad. The RNG is so bad. Okay, they randomly spit fire. It's not like a guaranteed thing. Three times, really. All 3 of you spitting fire. Whatever, man. But yeah, other than that, we're fine. Our HP's a little low. I do have a backup potion. I just really want to save it for later. Yeah, thankfully these enemies stand still long enough that I can just teleport past them. That teleport does cost a decent amount of MP, so it's not like I can just spam it whenever I'm in trouble. And there is a decent amount of end lag to it too, so it's not like it's, you know, a get out of jail free card or anything like that. But yeah. After this, there is a save room coming up, and I was kind of wanting to potentially see if I can do it without saving. That's not happening. I'm going to save. Because this next fight isn't necessarily difficult, but the normal strategy that you would be able to do is different. And sometimes this guy's AI will kind of do some weird stuff that you're not prepared for. This is a boss fight that is pretty infamous, I feel like, for most people's like casual playthrough. This guy gave me so much trouble in my casual playthrough, I remember as a young child. It's yourself. One thing that is nice about the sword is you can see that the doppelganger there is glowing, this like weird like bluish purplish hue. That's because this sword actually has an elemental damage type called the curse damage type, and it only affects doppelganger, the only enemy in the game that's affected by curse in this way, where it actually applies curse to him, so he can no longer do like normal sword attacks. He can still use sub weapons, but there I just take advantage of the fact that his AI wants to jump when we jump, so I just caught him in an AI loop. We got pretty good luck there, because every once in a while he could just break out if he feels like it, or if he's in like a weird position, so. But yeah, the whole reason we're coming out here is this is pretty much like the standard like start to any Symphony of the Night playthrough is you have to go all the way to the outer wall, because the outer wall has the first major like relic of the run, which is the wolf relic right there. And we do need that. We're going to be using it for a sequence break. There we go. Nice. We have to activate the elevator there to gain access to it. I am going to try for a frame perfect glitch here. Let's see if we got it. Nope. It saves 2 seconds. It clips you through that floor. It's really funny if you get it. If not, you just move on with your life. But yeah, the wolf relic's great. I am going to, I guess I'll grab this. I didn't really plan my route out here. I just kind of am going to play the game similar to the any percent route, similar-ish, while just having a really bad time trying to use weapons, because this weapon's bad. But I could maybe sell that garnet and buy like potions or something just to make this a little bit safer. I might do that. Let's just say that we'll do that. Sure, it's part of the route. I routed it in right now. Okay, you guys aren't going to spit fireballs, right? Thank you. See, sometimes they're nice. Okay, that one. Whatever. Oh, I can't even do this strat because it requires that I kill people in wolf form. Man, whatever. I'll try and dodge as many of these enemies as possible. In normal speedruns, you can like run through this area in wolf form, and it's like technically faster than like backdashing. But it does require that you use the wolf to like kill some of these enemies. But I do want to be fair about this challenge run. It's fine. We'll see more of the wolf later. And by later, I mean in like 10 seconds. Assuming that these guys let me through. Thank you. Don't touch. Okay, well, that Ouija table over there. Okay, don't hit me. Thank you. So the reason we got the wolf relic is because, well, I guess I can explain it here because I have to wait for the statue to move. The statue moves in and out of position every other minute, so we're on a bad cycle here, which is fine. If I was doing a normal speedrun, you basically always guarantee like a good, if not the best possible cycle. But essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump and then untransform like this. And by doing so, it gives you access to a dive kick, which normally you're not supposed to be able to dive kick without access to the leap stone ability, the double jump ability. But this game like gave you access to a dive kick anytime you untransform while midair. So we take advantage of that to do a little bit of a boost, end up in this area a little bit out of order, where normally you're supposed to get the double jump ability before you come up here. But yeah, this is just a little bit of a shortcut that gets us access to the next boss fight, as well as the next major upgrade, which is the Mist Relic, which is another transformation. Which essentially in this run will just be a thing that unlocks Bat for us, and then Bat basically is the go mode for normal speedruns. It's one of the reasons why in most like randomizer playthroughs, most people opt to use the glitchless rule set or like a no major glitches rule set, because in this game normally if you have the Soul of Bat, you just win the game. You can just go to the end. There's a bunch of different like glitches and skips you can do that just give you access to the end game. I will save here because there is a boss fight coming up here that is genuinely difficult. I am a big proponent of saying that this game's combat is not difficult. It's a little weird, but it's not difficult necessarily. Like, this game was designed for accessibility not accessibility in mind, but like, it's not meant to be hard. Every boss is meant to have some sort of weakness that you can exploit or something like that. When you're forced to use one of the worst weapons in the game, there's not really much you can do other than just hope that you get good patterns. Oh gosh, that's like a third of my health, something like that gone. So yeah, there is kind of an AI loop you can get them stuck in, but it's really tough to do. And I kind of just have to play well and hope for the best. There's a non-zero chance I die here, because my hitbox barely outranges their hitboxes sometimes. Okay, well, that was exact lethal. All right, that's cool. That's death number 1. I'm screaming. I'm screaming too, but on the inside. Yeah, the first time I ever attempted this challenge, it was a few years ago, and I think I died to these guys like over 30 times before finally getting past them. It's brutal. It's mostly the fact that like you have such limited combat abilities, and like because also the ability to actually do damage is randomly chosen. The game just decides whether or not you're actually allowed to do damage. There are many like scenarios where you're kind of just put in a checkmate scenario because you were meant to be like doing damage, which gives you a different like AI result from the enemies. Oh gosh. And this thing is tiny. Like the actual like hitbox is smaller than like Alucard's fists oftentimes. Okay. He did the Blanca ball on me. Oh god. And when they're looped or like stacked up like that, it's really hard to get damage in. Don't punch me. He did the Blanca ball again. He's not supposed to do that. Oh gosh, I'm in the corner. This is fine. I might just use my potion. Mostly for the iframes to get out of here. Because every time you use a potion in this game, you are invincible for a short period of time. How do you dodge that attack? Oh my god, I'm like seeing attacks that I haven't seen in years. Don't block a ball. Oh, I knew he wanted to. You're supposed to just do the punches. The punches are very easy to dodge. You just crouch them. What was that jump? Okay, we're learning new things. I do have a turkey I can eat, but okay, I'm eating the turkey. And the pot roast. Okay, we'll keep that in mind. I might have to use all my healing on this fight. Jeez. Oh yeah, I'm doing less damage than my normal fist, just FYI. This is currently doing 18 damage per swing, where my fist would be doing 20, and they would double hit. In fact, the glitchless speedrun actually just uses fists here. Okay, that's one down. I have iframes here from the level up. Not enough iframes! No! I actually lost that fight because I killed him. That's so funny. You know?
It's going well.
Attempt number 2. This is the hardest boss in the game by far, by the way, for this particular challenge. Once we finish this boss fight, it's kind of smooth sailing from here. Kind of. You know, it would be nice to just use any other weapon. I'm now realizing that like maybe the game designers didn't like want you to just use the red rust.
No, they did.
Like they put it in the game for a reason. They wanted you to use it, right?
Why would they name it something so cool?
Yeah, exactly. All right, attempt number 3. This should be easy peasy. First try every time. They're just standing there. Good pattern. Okay, I jump this. He's going to go for the Blanca ball, I think, right? Am I learning? Yeah, okay, I'm learning. Punches, and then they do this attack. Okay, yeah, I'm starting to remember the AI loop. Then they jump forward and then do that attack, but I was in the wrong spacing. That attack is weird. I'm scared. Okay, that's Blanca ball. Okay, I'm learning. These are attack patterns that I, again, haven't seen in years, so I'm just trying my best to remember. Okay, duck that. Okay, he's gonna one hit and then jump the Blanca ball. Yeah, he's gonna throw himself at me. Okay, not at that angle. I was jump out of the corner. Okay, we definitely eat food. Food is good. Should jump forward, right? Yeah. I don't know. That hitbox, I don't know, man. Okay. Okay. Okie dokie. We're kind of throwing. Surely. Fourth try is the one.
Got this.
I've learned a lot. So I will put all of my knowledge to the test and simply just win this time. I think that's the takeaway, right?
Of course.
I think I'm starting to remember like the actual pattern for real this time. They start with the punches because I am hard focusing the werewolf first here because he's the weakest and easiest to do damage with consistently. They dash around each other. This is Blanca ball. Yep, Blanca ball. Then he tries to hit me from the ceiling. Okay, from here they should be jumping forward. No, they jump up. Okay, and then it's jump forward with the energy ball, and then it's punches again. Okay, so this is Blanca ball. I can get one hit in. Another hit. This is jump. Yeah, this jump. The one I can jump over. And then this is jump forward. So let me... I was trying to space it properly, but I guess not. Yeah, that jump is a little bit janky. Not gonna lie. Oh my... Homie just super dashed at me like we're playing DBFZ. Jeez. Okay, this is the one I can jump. We have one healing item left. The only downside with these healing items is I do have to like grab them. He's doing the punches again. See? Oh my goodness. So it is random. Okay, one down. This guy is really hard. That's pretty much my only chance to do damage is that attack right there. Because trying to consistently do damage when he has the range advantage. So trying to essentially hit him when he has a much larger weapon than me is a bad idea. But as long as I keep my space, I should be fine. Because I should be able to react to everything, get a few hits in during that cycle. And I seem to be I found a pretty decent spot to stand in. That's nice. Okay, you're making me a little uncomfortable. You're a little close. Okay, we just didn't get a hit that cycle because the red rust said no. Yeah, nice poke, nice poke. He does the jumpy, the uppercut, sure you can. Okie dokie. Okay, now he's doing new stuff. Now I'm scared. I'm scared. He should go back to his, yeah, the jumpy. I like the jumpy. That jumpy, however, I'm not a big fan of. That jumpy is much scarier. The poke is fine. He should be dead soon, surely. There we go. Not bad. All right. I am going to grab this life max up, however, just to increase my max total health. Like I said, the rest of the boss fights aren't necessarily like that bad compared to that. Dealing with multiple bosses at the same time is rough. But now we're good. Form of Mist was the reason we came here. And now I will use my library card, warp to the library, and we have another boss fight. And then we get the Bat Soul. But this next boss is much more manageable most of the time. There is a chance that this boss fight is somehow worse, but I just want to believe that it's going to be better, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about, right? Belief is half the battle.
Exactly. Okay, this is exactly what I wanted. Yep. That was actually new movement I just invented right now. I'm going to say it's optimal.
Haters will say it's unoptimized.
This room, how will I get through this room? By being goated? No. I'll just damage boost and we'll be fine. Okay, that's fine. I don't need that health anyways. This guy, that guy sucks. And here's the boss fight. This boss is pretty chill. The worst thing you can do is shoot a fireball like that and then fly up and summon more guys, but the guys are pretty manageable. He's invincible while he's summoning the guys. This is Mudman, by the way. That's the only way to actually see this enemy in game, is this boss fight right here. Summoning the Mudman. If you ever do like a full completionist run, part of the game's completion for like, if you're like a big fan of just doing everything the game has to offer, is there's a bestiary, and that is the only way to get that enemy. So you can just have an uncompletable bestiary if you just kill the lesser demon without actually killing the Mudman. The reason I know this is because I've tried to do many 100% item completion and bestiary runs where I'm like multiple hours in and I've learned, oh wait, I forgot the Mudman. So, you know. But yeah, this guy's not really that bad. He just kind of stays up there and summons guys, but the guys he summons are not that scary.
Very
First
nice.
try. This is another great time for a life max up. Because my life is a little low. Not like terribly so, but a little bit. All right.
Missed could pass.
Could pass. Here's that Badu card glitch again. There is a floor clip I could do here that in a normal speedrun context would be slightly faster, but I do not have the proper setup to make that floor clip faster, so I will not do it. All right, I'm going to try my best to avoid killing these enemies with the wing smash, because the wing smash does do damage. But if they jump in front of me while I'm barreling down the highway at, 80 miles an hour, is it really my fault at that point,
True.
It's pretty funny. I'm working on the pacifist speedrun. I've been working on it for a little while on my stream, and
I'm interested in.
there is a glitch that causes the enemies to die, but for it to not count as a kill. So very often people in chat are, obviously like, hey, wait a minute, that's not pacifist. What was I getting? I was gonna get potions. So oftentimes we have to make excuses like, oh no, I didn't kill him. They had a sudden heart attack.
There's a small chance of that in every game, I think.
Exactly. So, it doesn't... the reason why that's also... why this game actually has like a true pacifist category is the game actually keeps track of your kills in the in-game menu. So essentially it turns into a run where you are trying to get to the end of the game while that kill count in-game is at 0. You can trick the kill count in a few minor ways, but in general, a lot of it is doing like really crazy glitches to skip encountering certain bosses altogether, as well as a few random item drops that are really annoying to farm for.
Is it possible to do 0?
0 kills, or
Yeah.
yeah, that is the pacifist.
Even the final boss?
The final boss, you can never confirm whether or not you've killed the final boss because you can't open the menu at that point. But every other boss fight, to my understanding, would count as a kill. I think you could technically, on the same frame that you kill the final boss, also use a library card to like keep the game going, but also count it as a kill, maybe? I'm not 100% sure on that, but maybe that does count as a kill. That's one of those like super niche things that not even I know about.
And you're the source of all knowledge.
I wouldn't go that far, but I do know a lot. There are many things I don't know, and there are people that are more knowledgeable than me. I'm just the guy who is the best at pressing the buttons most often. Not even all the time, most often. There are plenty of people that are very good at pressing the buttons too. But yeah, from here, we're pretty much just going to the end of the game as quickly as we can, trying to dodge bad enemies. Because at this point, there's no reason to fight any of these enemies. It's just better to dodge them. This is giving me good pacifist practice, because oftentimes the fastest way to get through rooms is just by dodging the enemies. I'm just gonna fly over these guys. That sounds fun. They have really big swords. I don't want to you know, I don't want to challenge that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it can be frightening. So there's cutting, slicing.
Like, I feel like my sword's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, but like, you know. This is Karasamon. For whatever reason, they designed this boss to get stun locked for free. Like, if you do damage to the boss, they just are in stun for a little while. The only way they get out is if they land on the ground, which can happen because the weapon decides to fail. So now I have to dodge this attack, which isn't hard to dodge necessarily, but now they're back in a stunnable state. So it's not difficult by any means. This is like a boss with a really cool design that unfortunately the devs were like, what if we made the boss do nothing 90% of the time? But the 10% of the time that they do stuff is actually quite cool. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Uh-oh.
That was three in a row.
Oh no. Oh gosh. No. Stop doing stuff. Oh no, I'm letting him do stuff. He's doing the cool stuff. Okay, you showed off most of your cool stuff. Now you can die. This game has some of the best, like, NPC, like, enemy voice kills and stuff like that. It's so good. I'm obviously, like, a huge fan and, like, nostalgic for it because I've played this game basically my whole life, but some of the enemy death sounds are just chef's kiss. All right, I'm going to do a save here because I can technically soft lock here because I'm going for a glitch that will get me to the second castle whilst skipping all of the things you normally need to get to the second castle. And if I do it wrong, there's a chance I soft lock. It's very unlikely, but... Oh, come on. I'm doing a way harder version of this for no reason but to flex. And I was hoping I would get it first try. One more. Okay, never mind. It's just not giving it to me. It's a very dumb way to do it. It's called breakless because you don't break that brick that I just broke with the wolf's mouth. And it's really dumb. The one where you break the thing is a lot easier to do. But it's slightly slower. But here we are. We basically skipped like, I don't know, probably like 40% of the game right there. Like there's a big chunk of this game that is just collecting items to save Richter, and this skips like all of that.
Didn't you know that the Red Rust category requires you to do breakless?
Unvalid? Oh, I can't submit it to the leaderboard?
Stupid idiot.
Dang, dude. That's rough, yeah. I should have double checked. Always read the category rules, guys.
That's right, because somebody else has decided your fate.
We all know that if your speedrun isn't on a leaderboard, and in fact, if it's not the world record, it's not a real speedrun. Everybody knows this.
That's true and correct and based. Yep.
So if you do not get your speedrun on the leaderboard, it is not a real speedrun, and you should feel bad. In fact, you should cry.
If a moderator rejects your run, you are trash. This is true.
These are all true and real things that we are saying. No sarcasm at all. That actually does kind of bring me to my next question. This next fight is literally going to be like 30 minutes of nothing going on.
That brings me to my next point.
My next point. No, an interesting question. What got you, Adef, into speedrunning? Because I know you started very young. I also started quite young.
Yeah.
My first speedrun was, well, I'll let you go first.
Well, my first introduction to speedrunning was before I actually decided to take the hobby up. I was playing Wind Waker at my mom's house when I was like, I had to be 11.
I mean, we were all playing Wind Waker at your mom's house at 11.
Correct.
So,
we were all playing Wind Waker at my mom's house.
It's a very relatable story.
Yes. And I had beaten the game many times, and I thought to myself, how quickly can this game be beaten? And I tried to beat it as fast as I could, not in one sitting.
Of course.
Just in general.
Oh, you did one of them segmented speedruns.
Yeah, one of them segments. And afterwards, I looked it up and found Giano's any percent speedrun, which was like 6 hours, I think.
Oh, that was way back in the day.
And I remember seeing that and being like, this is wild! And then never looking into it any further. And then flash forward to 2012, when I was 14. I was probably 13 at the time. I was playing Mega Man 1, and I did a race of it with a friend. Specifically, not to flex on you Let's Play homies, but my friend was Nintendo Capri Sun.
Yo, wait a minute. Actually, I'm sorry, I don't actually know who that is.
Okay. Anyway,
but they sound really cool. They sound like really cool.
We did a one-sitting Let's Play race of Mega Man 1. And then after that, it took me like 30 or 40 minutes to beat the game. And then I was like, well, hang on, surely it can be beaten much faster than this. I'm not very good. And then I found Dunnius's run at, I think it was CGDQ. It might have been a different one, but it was an early GDQ run of Mega Man. And his run was like 22 minutes and change. And I was like, this is unbelievable. And then I fell down the rabbit hole of SDA and then SRL. And I've been speedrunning Mega Man 1 since June of 2012.
Wow.
And it all just sort of fell into place from there.
That's cool.
How about you?
Cool. So my introduction to speedrunning is weird because I kind of just he jumped in front of me. I had nothing to do with that officer.
Yeah, correct. The pedestrian is at fault.
In some states. Anyways, I was kind of doing it on accident. Like I kind of figured out that speedrunning was a thing you can kind of just do by my first introduction to it is a game that I love dearly. Let me do the right setup for this room. A game that I absolutely love dearly and still thinks holds up to this day. Still my favorite Kirby game. Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland.
So good.
For the Game Boy Advance, fantastic video game. In my mind, top 3 best Kirby games. Because they're remaking one of the best games. Yeah, Amazing Mirror is slightly better in my opinion, but they're both very, very good.
Yes.
Anyways, that game, inside the game, you can unlock new modes. And one of the modes you can unlock is you could play as Meta Knight. What? That's crazy. But if you play as Meta Knight, you can't save the game. So if you wanted to beat the game as Meta Knight, you had to just beat it in one sitting. And the game had a built-in in-game timer that kept track of your high score, aka the lowest time. So it's oh, well, I like playing as Meta Knight. He's really cool. I mean, Kirby's cool too, but Meta Knight goes dummy, stupid, crazy mode. And he's really fast and he's a lot of fun. Anyways, that ended up being my first foray into speedrunning. Kind of on accident. I'm just playing the game, and the game kind of pushed me in the direction of trying to go fast, which is really, really cool. Here I'm going to be doing a little glitch. It doesn't matter, I'm just skipping all the those 5 ladder relics we needed to beat the game. I'm not doing any of that. Is this the right spot? Pixel perfect, kind of. Okay, that should work. But yeah, from there, I think I just tangentially was doing this on my own for a very long period of time. And then, I'm watching YouTube. I'm probably 16 years old, maybe. And in my recommended, what is this? Classic games done quick. What? They're playing video games that I think are really cool. And I watched the Symphony of the Night 4-way race between, it was Rom Scout, Satoryu. Was it a 3-way race, actually? It was Rom Scout, Satoryu, and Reign of SotN, and I think one other person. Oh, it's slipping my mind. And at that point, I'm yo, I played this game so much as a kid. I didn't know you could skip all this stuff. This is crazy. That was Rom Scout's first speedrun of Symphony of the Night, by the way. Just fun fact. He ended up winning that race.
Wait, first ever attempt?
Yes. Did I punch him?
I love old GDQ.
Yeah, Rom Scout's goated for a reason. Oh, by the way, this is Shaft. You can see all of his balls now. I'm likely going to die to this guy a few times. But once we kill this guy, the final boss is actually really easy in comparison.
Okay, the Castlevania Symphony of the Night race is just, from CGDQ, is just Rom Scout and Reign of SotN.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, never mind then. I could have swore Satoryu was there as well. Anyways, I'm just, that was what? 11, 12 years ago?
In the webcam, Mike89 is asleep on the couch.
God, I love old GDQ vids.
And
They hold up so well.
The game feed is like the size of a molecule.
Yeah. Oh man,
Oh
just
my
so
God.
nostalgic. Am I gonna get hit up here? Yes. Cool. You know what I probably should do? I'm learning. I'm actually going to die and make my life a lot easier because I kind of forgot a really important item that'll make this infinitely easier. Because I'm like won't finish in the next like multiple hours if I don't get it. So it's gonna be like a 4-minute detour to go grab it.
It was SGDQ 2011 was the Mega Man run that I watched.
Yeah, those old GDQ vids are really like what got me like interested in watching speedruns and like knowing what Twitch was in the first place. And I ended up following a lot of classic speedrunners of games that I was vaguely tangentially interested in. Oh, I don't have a library card. All right. I might have made a bit of an oopsie.
Did you?
Yeah. Because the closest way for me to get to the place I need to go to is like probably like 10 minutes away. Okay, it's fine. I have a new idea. I will simply kill the boss. If I don't kill the boss and we hit estimate, then I'm just bad at the game. However, as a compromise, instead of 10 minutes of backtracking, what if I'm allowed to do like a couple of spells? Just a couple.
Just do them.
Just like, I need to sweeten the deal a little bit. Hold on. Because my reputation really matters here for this, challenge run that I made up on the spot. It's important to me.
Okay, so 2 things I got to tell you about this SGDQ 2011 Mega Man run. Okay, so first of all, there's a comment. The first comment from 11 years ago, it uses an expletive at the start that I'll skip.
Of course.
But then they say, not use pause is glitch.
Okay.
Let him cook.
Not use pause is glitch?
There's a pause glitch in the game.
Yeah. I am tangentially aware of. Oh gosh. Keep going. You're fine.
Try to. Oh, this is looking good.
This should be fine. Yeah, I'm basically just using spells to stay alive, more so than like actually doing damage, because they don't do much damage to Shaft. He's unironically very difficult to kill. And the balls. Anyways, continue.
Anyway, I can't make out some of the people in the background of this video because it's so old, but Spike Vegeta is in the front row.
Some things never change. Man, why would you use those balls? So when he does this attack, it's like random which set of balls end up being the ones that bounce around and do damage. And it shows like the 2 that were already inside of me. So, just... Oh gosh. I think I'm not dead, but I likely will be. How did I survive that?
We have time. It's okay if you die.
See, I'm just trying to win for my gamer pride personally, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. There's a relic called Power of Mist, which turns my mist transformation into like just a fully invincible thing that lets me fly around at the cost of mana, and that would let me actually it's like intended that you use that to dodge some of these attacks. So these attacks without it, in my opinion, are essentially undodgeable. In like a normal, there are ways to dodge them, but it's like so incredibly niche and precise. Otherwise, like this lightning attack is messed up. Okay, I somehow survived. I might have enough time to use my last potion. Okay. a chance. Depending, I have no clue how much health this guy has. But there is a chance. If I time my transformations well... Oh, what is that angle? Oh my goodness. Don't come back down. Don't come back down. Please, let me live. You know, I tried.
It's okay.
I tried. Ah, boy, oh boy. Yeah, no, this guy sucks. Not a fan.
We got time. It's okay.
I'm just trying to think, like, damage-wise, am I even gonna be able to get him? Like,
What's
is
the
it even
backup?
the backup would be me using a different weapon. At this point, like, it would be infinitely easier if I was able to just punch him to death. But I'll try one more time. I'll give it one more fair shot. I think it might be possible if we get very lucky and if I just play out of my gourd.
Who's off his gourd?
Because legitimately, the final boss is like free. Like every attack is incredibly telegraphed and easy to dodge. He looks really scary, but like there is a method to the madness that is very consistent to deal with. Whereas this guy, it's the balls, man. Balls just do whatever they want, and there's not much you can really do to try and... Because every time he does an attack, it's random which ball he chooses for it. The angle of it is random, like, and trying to react to it in time is very tough. And this attack, I think, might just genuinely be impossible to dodge without Power of Mist with my given setup. So I'm kind of just in like a healing war where I hope that I have enough healing to make it through. Oh, come on. Yeah, I think I'm currently playing inside of my gourd, the out of gourd.
You could punch him if you want.
It's still gonna be tough, but I think I'm gonna, Chat, look away. See, that's the tough side is like this still isn't easy, but it's at least I'll be doing reasonable damage because I'm fairly certain he resists curse type damage, so I'm probably doing like literally 1 to 5, something like that per hit, or at least my punches are doing like 20 per hit, and they can multi-hit. Oh my, how did I dodge that? I'm like developing new strategies to deal with this guy right now. The only issue is it costs like all of my magic to do just one dodge. That's the other thing that the Power of Mist relic does that's really nice, is it makes your Mist transformation cost like virtually no MP. So it makes it so much more useful for maneuvering. I disagree with that hitbox. The other thing that sucks is he just flies at the top of the room, and I just can't hit him. Because I can't get up there.
It's okay, Dragon Blitz. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm giving this like a 30% chance even with punching we make it through, but hey, I'm happy I tried.
Yeah.
Considering this was an impromptu thing, I'm pretty happy about this.
I'm thrilled. Chat, pay no mind to things on stream layout changing. Don't even worry about it.
It's fine.
Okay, you still have your eyes and you can see the Dragon Blitz is on screen with the game. Use your cognitive
context clues
and cognitive reasoning to assert that maybe we're aware.
No, this is actually how I'm announcing my my name change.
Oh, this is huge.
This is a joke, please. you will find me at twitch.tv/DragonBlitz, I promise.
Can we get a shout out, please? Genuinely, if any mods are in chat.
Oh gosh.
If we can get a shout out for Dragon Blitz.
All right. I will say, if I fail this run, I promise sometime on my stream, I will do a legitimate Red Rust only run at some point. I mean, I'm probably I should have to at this point, seeing as how I'm copping out with the punches here. But I could do I've done Red Rust only before. It's just I kind of forgot how I did it. I'm gonna use the spell invincibility here. I think that was the main thing. I probably allowed myself to use spells. That's probably what made it so much easier. Because you get like a 1.5 seconds of invincibility every time you do a spell. I mean, this guy still is shafting me like he often does. Okay. The potion invincibility is also huge. Oh, come on. Yeah, so there's lots of ways to get invincibility in this game. It's just unfortunate that it's not enough because this guy's attacks are genuinely... Oh, I'm out of healing. Okay, at least potion-wise. Turkey, go! You're my final hope. Okay, that's not the worst. Okay. God. Oh no. I think this is it. I tried to hold off as long as I could. Yeah, I just don't got the damage.
Do you have a weapon you could beat him with and then do the final boss, Red Rust?
Yeah, I could do that. It'll take me probably like 3 minutes to get that weapon.
That's okay.
And then the final boss is a long one, but it'll be fine. Yeah, that guy is there's a randomizer preset that we had that still is around, but was like initiated and like a thing because of an April Fool's joke from like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that. Where the joke was like beating the game essentially with like it's a randomizer, but no items actually spawn. So one year we boot up the entire randomizer website. No matter what you try and like generates these joke seeds where no items will drop. And so we raced that April Fool's, and boy oh boy, that sure was difficult. And mostly because that guy Shaft is a jerk. All right. Thankfully enough, there's a pretty decent weapon up here that should be good enough. His name is Graham. He's a cool guy. I like him a lot. I do need to grab a new heart refresh, however, which is like another probably like 2-minute detour. It's not very far from here.
Dragon Blitz, you're chilling, baby.
I'm just giving context. I'm not like I'm not worried about it at all. Like I said, I'm just happy to be here. I'm chilling with my good friend Adef, having a great time.
That's right.
That's what being a gamer is all about.
That's right. Any other pressing questions?
For you? Or in general? That's a good question. Wow. Ooh, I have one.
Okay.
Stop me if you've heard this one before. Any other pressing questions?
What?
You asked if I had any other
Are
pressing
you just
questions.
reversing?
Yeah,
you're
I'm hitting you with Uno
reversing
reverse,
me right
yes.
now?
No, but why Mega Man, actually? That's a good question. Mega Man 1? What was the appeal?
I grew up on the Game Boy Mega Man.
Oh.
And the aforementioned Nintendo Capri Sun really liked Mega Man, and he and I were talking about racing something, and that was a game that I had seen him play that I really liked, so I tried it out and really liked it, and I was like, we should do that. And that's really it.
I forget which Game Boy Mega Man I had. I think it was the original Game Boy Mega Man, which was actually used the Robot Masters from like 2 or whatever. There's some jankiness to it, if I remember correctly.
Mega Man 1 on Game Boy, Mega Man, uses like the Mega Man 1 Robot Masters, and then a new guy called Enker, I think is his name. But then, or maybe Quill, I can't remember. Quint, maybe? Anyway, Mega Man 2 on Game Boy uses Mega Man 2 and 3 Robot Masters, I think. Or something like that. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure I had Mega Man 1 as a child. I couldn't get past like maybe the first 2 Robot Masters. It's
really hard game.
I thought I was just bad. I thought like, oh, maybe I'm just bad at video games. Like that's just a thing.
It's a tremendously hard game, partially because Mega Man takes up so much of the screen, and the jumps are still so precise.
Gotta love the Game Boy aspect ratio.
Yeah, and the jumps in Iceman are like really hard. And then if you make it to the Wily stages, they're like so tough. And you get this sub weapon in the Game Boy Mega Man game called Carry, Carry. It's like a platform you can place. It's sort of like item 1 in Mega Man 2, except it doesn't move.
Gotcha.
And there are jumps that require you to really precisely use Carry. And if you run out of ammo, you're just like screwed. Damn, that guy just took a slice out of you.
Yeah, that's a mechanic called a big toss. When you take more than half of your health in a single hit, the game just sends you flying until you hit a wall. They're actually very useful for setting up certain glitches if you could do them intentionally. I just wanted to show that off. I'm not like, it wasn't a mistake. I just wanted the people at home to see the cool mechanic that might have gotten missed otherwise. All right, let's do this dang glitch again. Because I have to do this glitch again to get over there. Am I on the wrong setup? No, I am. I'm good. Heart refresh. Fun fact, this glitch discovered by Sockfolder.
All the good ones are.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yes. That's not what's supposed to happen. I saved for that exact reason. Sockfolder really did a number on this game.
Yes, he did. I remember when he started hunting in this game and then found arbitrary code execution, and everyone was like, huh?
Yeah, turns out nobody likes arbitrary code execution in this game. It's a little, silly and dummy and bad to perform.
Don't blame him.
No, of course not. It's still amazing, and in fact, a lot of people nowadays are looking at it as a tool for the current decomp project for this game. So,
oh, interesting.
Okay, that's not how you do that. But yeah, it's a huge discovery, and on top of that, it's like one of those things without it, we would have never found a lot of the glitches that are used today that make the speedrun like so much more manageable. The reason I even started speedrunning this game and was because Sockfolder found glitches that made the run like possible to complete if you aren't ROM Scout. Before, the route was literally ROM Scout only, and it's one of the reasons why the category was like dominated by him for so long.
ROM Scout only.
The pre Sockfolder any percent, I would say was a ROM Scout only route. That route that ROM Scout did was very few people were even able to finish runs, let alone like compete for any sort of like time.
You raced Symphony of the Night at AGDQ 2015.
Yeah, that was my first GDQ.
I remember seeing you there.
I'm shocked. I was just a baby at that point.
I mean, I was even more baby.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, this is Graham. It's gonna do damage and probably at least get me to the point where I can kill reasonably, where I don't have to use all my healing. But yeah, one of the reasons I even started playing the speedrun in the first place is because the game got so much more accessible. And if it wasn't for ROM Scout like fiddling with the game and finding consistent setups for all sorts of glitches that were previously just insane, just ridiculous. Like the glitch I did earlier to skip into the second castle, before that required like 4 frame perfect inputs or something like that. And this is also a period of time before people realized that you can like, it wasn't that you couldn't, no one realized it, but no one did it reasonably. You can input your inputs while the map is open, and it helps you buffer inputs. It's not like Ocarina of Time input buffering where you have like a huge window. Like you still have to input the stuff in the same frame window, but you could at least confirm certain like visual cues and stuff like that to know if you're going to get a trick or not. But yeah, all that stuff is like was discovered, and then it's like, oh wait, I can actually like play the video game and like finish runs now.
That's awesome.
Yeah. There's still some leftover like not in any main categories, but some of the side categories. There's like some old like free my brain, hold on. I had to focus. Okay, we're possibly in trouble. Okay, we're fine. How are you not dead yet? But yeah, pre-sock folder, there's a lot of like pre-sock folder jankness that never got explained that I'm like trying to look into myself nowadays, and it is crazy how much he was able to do for the speedrun back then.
He changed the game for a lot of games.
He changed the games.
Yeah.
Dude, how are you still out there just balling out, dude? This guy's okay, he's no longer balling?
Deflated.
Yeah, I can't imagine doing that with Red Rust. What was I thinking? Jeez, I forgot this guy's in the game. He normally goes down. You usually have better weapons at this point. Oof. All right, from here, I mean, I could show you kind of what the Red Rust thing is supposed to look like, but I'm pretty sure this boss fight will take like 20 minutes.
20 minutes?
Yeah. He has 6,000 health, and I'm doing probably like 5 damage per hit. And I also need to like not get unlucky with some of these swings. I did take damage there, which is really bad for me. Okay, this is really bad for me. I think I might be slightly on tilt having to deal with the shaft fight over and over again.
Fair.
Normally, his attacks are very, very dodgeable and like very easy to deal with. I don't have like the perfect setup for dealing with all of his attacks, but I have something I can do for all of them. To fly over here to avoid the third one. He does the triangle attack. I have to do a spell to dodge it. And then he goes back to swinging his hands back and forth. And he just does this over and over again. So that's pretty much all the stuff he can do. I am not going to do this with Red Rust only. I'm sorry, I lied. You are falling for what is a classic...
I'm gonna scream.
Classic Dragon Blitz scam. Type it in the chat if you got the emote. Because, yeah, I respect you guys' time and, well-being's too much to put you through that. Like, we could sit here for 20 minutes. What? Lied? No. It's more of a enhancement of the truth.
Look, really anybody who's seen Challenger approaching will know that the integrity of this show is so important to me.
Yeah, of course. So,
and I've never sacrificed that for the sake of a challenge being completable.
So what I did is, actually, while you weren't looking, I did some arbitrary code execution on my own, and I renamed this sword to Red Rust in the game's files. So actually, yeah, it's still legit.
That's fine.
Yeah. You just didn't see it. Also, there's like a glitch where it says that it's like it looks like it's Graham. It's like a weird phonetic, issue. But trust me, it's definitely the Red Rust.
Okay.
Source, trust me, bro.
You would never lie to me.
I don't believe I ever have.
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah, even with this like somewhat better weapon, this is still like we're on cycle number 5, I want to say. We usually refer to a cycle as every time he like flies up off screen and then goes, oh ho ho ho. That's like the end of the cycle. Yeah, he does a little laugh. He's having a good time.
He's laughing.
Yeah. He's just hanging out with the sun, catching up. It's been a few thousand years.
That's my dad.
Yep, that is my dad. We're playing, you know, run away from the terrifying head, catch the triangles,
catch the prisms.
Yeah, you know, just classic,
classic father-son activities.
Exactly. You know, Father's Day surely is coming up, right?
It's in 2 days.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I knew that. Oh, come on. This guy, 6,000 health. It's a lot.
Get your father the gift of a gift sub to twitch.tv/dragonblitz this Father's
He'll really
Day.
appreciate it.
He'll love that.
I mean, this game's demographic of fans, like, there's a non-zero chance that your dad likes this game.
Dads?
Oh, fun fact, the reason I even own this game is because of my dad, actually.
Let's
he
go.
bought it for himself, and he never finished the game because he had a bunch of kids that would overwrite his save files on accident because they didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah, I kind of my first actual foray into speedrunning, now that I'm thinking about it, was when I would play Pokemon Red when I was like 4, but I didn't know you could save.
Of course,
and I would just play as much as I could.
That is a classic.
And then just stop playing when it was time for breakfast or whatever.
Yeah.
You just soul
There it
stealed?
is. Yeah, I'm sorry I cheated. Time?
It's flawless! Overestimate and cheating? Pog!
That's the kind of elite gameplay you could expect from twitch.tv/dragonblitz.
All right, gamers. Thank you so much for watching. DB, any final thoughts?
I'm just so happy I got to spend a few hours with my good friend Adef and all of you lovely people watching at home. I'm always happy to be able to showcase my favorite game in its best light and its not so best light. Either way, I'm having a great time. So thank you. If you want to see more content from me in general, obviously the Twitch stream, you can check that out. I did upload a brand new YouTube video earlier today. I'm quite proud of it. It is another Castlevania game. It's Aria of Sorrow. It goes over the speedrun of Aria of Sorrow and how, without RNG manipulation, the odds of the current world record ever happening is a 1 in 100 million. So I go into the story of that as well as the mechanics. It's a good video. I definitely recommend if you have anything you want to watch after this. But yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Well, gamers, thank you so much for watching. I have been Adef. Some quick announcements. Reminder, first of all, that there is more hotfix after this. This is not the end of hotfix tonight. There is more coming up just after this show. We will have more gaming. It looks like Dangerous is maybe queued up. We've got gamers in the call, which is really exciting. We have Legally Cute, hosted by our very own Cutie Roo, coming up. That's a show all about cute and cozy speedruns. But if you missed out on SGDQ 2023, be sure to check out all the VODs on youtube.com/GamesDoneQuick. And Juneteenth, our annual event celebrating Black Independence, is coming up June 17th and 18th at 1 p.m. Eastern. Join us as we highlight amazing talents of the Black speedrunning community. That starts tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. Check it out. Gamers, I've been Adef. This has been Dragon Blitz. Thank you for watching Challenger Approaching, and we'll see you next time.